Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Koop'd podcast, the podcast that has conquered the aggro crag and really wants to just lick the trophy, which is so bad.
Stop.
No, I refuse. Until I know what it tastes like, I can't die. As always, folks, my name is Koopa, and each week I sit down with a bunch of my friends and we talk about all the happenings of pop culture. And this week, folks, we're going to do something fun. This week celebrates the 30th anniversary of Nickelodeon. Kind of crazy, wild stuff. And I found this really cool article on theringer.com, which is essentially a 64 character bracket of Nickelodeon characters. And I figured, you know what? This will translate very well into an audio medium. And yeah, that's what we're going to do here today. But I couldn't do it by myself. That would be boring. So instead, I recruited a couple of friends, one of which who was planned for a week, and the other one I called about 10 minutes ago. But getting into it, folks, my first guest, the one that I invited properly,
wow.
He is one of the... Are you hurt?
Tip usually.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Just my perpetual state, yes.
You know, what are we going to do? Anyway, folks, my first guest, one of the talking heads on the Glintendo podcast, the owner of the YouTube channel, Arhungry. You know him, you love him, making his debut on my show for once. Please give a warm, cooped up welcome to Arhungry. Hungry, how are you?
Pretty good. 50, hanging around. 50% C, 50% weed, the usual.
Could have asked for a better response. And joining me once again on the show, folks, we last talked to him actually about Nickelodeon, ironically enough. We talked about Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl on my show last month, and joining me at the 11th hour to break down some Nickelodeon characters in bracket format, please give a warm return welcome to my friend, Nintoonist. Also the host of the Double D Experience podcast. So how you doing, David?
El Nino. 50% weed, 50% weed. That's a North Jersey. No one's going to get that one, unless you're a real one, which Pablo I'm not sure all of you are.
Oh, man, that's God.
Yeah, you got it. It's good to see you. Don't listen to my podcast. It's awful.
Karen might be the best wife of all time. Can we just we don't give her enough credit.
She's Rob.
Damn.
Are all robots the same? I mean, she puts up with a lot.
Dude,
don't get me wrong.
I'm not even kidding. She actually is Rob. Like when she's like the little TV stand when she's mobile.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess I can see it.
But is every robot that's mobile Rob? Like all those Japanese artificial intelligence robots Rob then?
Look it up. Look it up. If you're listening to this, look up mobile Karen or something. Something like
I think mobile Karen is going to come up with very different search results in the year 2021.
SpongeBob, Karen,
I'm already
else.
seeing the bowl cuts.
Right?
No, SpongeBob, Karen, mobile. Because I know what you're talking about. She's got arms and... She's got arms and legs. I remember when she was crowd surfing at the end of the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah, she's Rob.
Woohoo!
She's got little pincers.
Well, she doesn't have any arms.
She does.
Look it up right now. Look, SpongeBob Mobile Karen. I just Googled it. Oh, this one she has arms. Okay. Most of them she doesn't. Normally she's just a stationary computer that, puts up with the regularly illegal acts of her husband who happens to only be 2 inches tall.
Sometimes she has no arms, but sometimes she has arms.
Honestly, that's relatable in all things considered. But yeah, shout outs to Karen and all the Karen, the computer wife. That's it.
I feel bad for Karen. And all Karens really
my lab, and this is my laboratory.
That is an underrated joke in SpongeBob,
dude. It was the funniest thing of all time. I think laugh as a kid, and I still laugh about it now.
Every now and then, I'll go through this phase with SpongeBob where I'll watch a random episode and then I'll just be like, oh yeah, this one line is really funny and nobody talks about it.
Never forget.
So good.
Never forget the end of one of Koopa's old highlight Koopa's old commentary reels that I edited, where he's like, yeah, what are we gonna do for Koopa's like commentary reel? Let's showcase all like the biggest events that he's commentated. No, except for the end. Let's just like plop on like a local stream here because it's got Hungry laughing in the background, and it just makes the podcast what it just makes like the video what it is. Did you see the way that Mewtwo's back arch? He was like, "Ow, how my back!" And then this man, just started wheezing in the background. And it's just, if you ever know Hungry in real life, man, this man's laughter is infectious. We were just taking a group photo at Glentendo's place. We were having a big birthday celebration for him, and like his sister was talking about water or something for some reason. I was just like, sparkling or regular? This man just erupted. I'm like, I knew it was gonna get you. I knew that. Oh, Nicktoons, man. It's amazing how like mostly SpongeBob, but just like whole generation of that stuff has just like of all those cartoons has just like impacted the lingo and the slang of our generation, man. It's just you ever really just truly think about like the influence that Nickelodeon has had on our lives?
Well,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, it's true. So again, just to reiterate what we're doing tonight, theringer.com, which if you're not familiar is a website that covers pop culture, sports, has a great array of podcasts if you're into things like reality television, film. Like if you can conceive it, they probably have a podcast about it. And it's one of my favorite websites read for business and or for leisure. And this week they dedicated a whole bunch of articles to the 30th anniversary of Nickelodeon. And I think one more thing before you jump into the actual bracket. Did you guys assume that Nickelodeon was older than 30 years? Because when I found out it was only 30, that kind of took me back for a second.
That's kind of jarring to think about.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yes and no. I knew they had some old talk shows and stuff that I think whatever the actress was that played Helen Keller in that movie was on. I don't remember her name, but she was on that show or had a talk show on it or something. And then there was that Egypt show with the obstacle course, whatever. I forget what that was called. You know what that was, right, Kyle?
What are you talking about?
That game show where it's the Pharaoh thing, whatever.
Oh yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's the one. Yeah, there was that. 30 is... It's daunting in the fact that it's I am old, but I think, the kid yelling, sus over and over and over again as loud as he could next to my kiosk yesterday was more of an indicator of that. I'm not really too surprised, but at the same time, it's yeah, wow. It sort of reminds me of how Nintendo was well over 100 years old because they used to make trading cards and stuff. But as crazy as it seems, I don't know, 30 years old, it seems par for the course, actually. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I'm 27, and the fact that Nickelodeon is only a few years older than me is kind of weird, especially considering how the channel has drastically changed in 3 decades of television. Because you mentioned, a lot of we are, myself and Hungry are a little bit older than you, David. So we're gonna be slightly more familiar with a lot of these older live action shows. But I feel a lot. When I talk to people that are around that age demographic, I feel a lot of this stuff has found second life on cable television. Because I don't know if you guys remember, there was this channel on Cablevision that was dedicated to the Nickelodeon sports shows. I think it was called Nickelodeon Gas or something. And then now they up until a few years ago, they were doing this thing on one of the late night channels called the 90s are all that, where they show a lot of these older shows from the 90s and such. So I still feel these shows are still pretty popular within the zeitgeist and younger people. And plus with Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl coming out, that's going to be a whole generation of people that are going to discover these shows for the first time, and it's going to get weird.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. We talked about this on the Nicktoons episode of Koopa's podcast, but yeah, no, that episode of Koop'd was a lot of fun. I was I lost my my mind when Kyle told me yeah, there's probably gonna be a stage based off of Double Dare. Is there already a stage based off Double Dare? Is that confirmed?
I know in the racing game that there is a Double Dare based stage, so I wouldn't be surprised if they rip a lot of those same concepts.
keep forgetting that
What
game
is there? A
exists.
Legend of the Hidden Temple stage?
I don't think there is.
We'll see.
And if there isn't, I'm gonna be tight.
Stage hazards built in.
Yeah, the temple guards. They're there for a reason. But yeah, so we are not going to beat around the bush any longer. We are going to get into this. So the way that this bracket is set up, there is 16 there's 16 characters in each part of the bracket, which again feeds into like 32, 16, it's all divisible by 8. And the way that the Ringer did their list is that it's only featuring characters from Nickelodeon original shows. So shows like because there are certain shows that are like licensed to like Nickelodeon, but like they're not made by the company, like Degrassi. So like, that is weird.
Whatever
I guess.
it takes.
Theme song bop though, but like man, those kids were fucked up.
Bro, people died.
Oh my lord! Oh, bro, who's your favorite Nicktoon? Manny Santos.
What? Who said that?
What? Who said that?
Whenever people say, "What's your favorite Sam Jackson part?" No one's gonna say, "What's his name from Jurassic Park?"
Well
Quentin
played.
Tarantino ain't the cleanest.
All right.
That's enough. I'm not gonna do that. Don't worry. I know when I'm going too far. I'm just saying that I had to make that reference. At least
Yeah,
once.
I'm gonna play this. The secret slime action is getting David canceled.
My own podcast is the secret slime action for getting David canceled. All right.
This is valid.
Oh.
But yeah, so only original Nickelodeon series, and they're limiting it to 4 characters per show. So there are some omissions from here that make me like slightly sad. I think this will be a fun one. Like if we run into a character that we like don't know or don't give a shit about, I'll allow a substitute of like another random Nickelodeon character.
Yeah, I'll bow out. I mean, this is hype because like I feel like I can't escape it. I'm surrounded by Nickelodeon all the time, because I guess a little fun fact about me, I'm a product demonstrator at the American Dream. That's where Nicktoons universe is. That giant Nickelodeon
I keep forgetting
theme
that
park.
exists.
Yeah, that's there. And they just opened a slime shop there. You can now buy, we're talking about old Nickelodeon right now. You can literally buy like slime and like all the different colors there, like Nickelodeon slime. So I felt like I just had to talk about that, since that's like literally right in our backyard that you can do that. Slime? It's just very cool to be surrounded by that. Oh, also Danny also keeps harassing me at work there because he passes me by.
Hey, come on. Don't dox people.
Nah, I'm not
that could be anybody. Also,
sorry.
Yeah, can you eat the slime? Like, I'm asking for Julio, who's asking for science.
No. I believe, fun fact about Nickelodeon, I guess before we get into this bracket again, I'll keep it brief, is that slime back in the day, in the 90s, it was actually made out of vanilla. I think you could eat it. It was just, you could color it, or at the very least, like, you could make it, like, at home, because I had a Nicktoons, like, recipe book.
You can actually eat it.
And one of the things in that was like a slime cake, right? And like the slime was vanilla. It was like vanilla frosting. I would not recommend eating the slime that they sell at that place. I do not think it's edible. As a matter of fact, it'll stain the hell out of your clothes, like no matter what color it is. So, matter of fact, don't even touch it. Just buy it for your kid. Keep it in the jar, and then just like give it to them. All right.
Let them clean it out of the carpet. But anyway, there's your PSA for slime. I'm sure we'll be talking about it later on throughout this bracket, folks. We're going to get into things here. So I think the best course of action, like for us personally, just to like save time, I think we finish out one bracket until we get to the final 4, and then we move on until we finish the final 4, and then we can just like talk about it from there.
So much hyper than basketball.
I agree. So I think we start with what I think is like the number 1 overall seed in this bracket, in the Bikini Bottom region of the bracket. And I'll make sure to post the link to the article in the description of the video and in the description of the podcast if you guys want to follow along and read. The Ringer's been updating this all week. I haven't read what their responses are to yet, but I'm probably going to be mad at it later. So we're going to break it down. We'll get started here with our number 1 overall seed, most likely, in my opinion, SpongeBob SquarePants. Hungry, what are your thoughts on SpongeBob?
What is there to say? It's SpongeBob, and he has square pants and a square shirt. No one talks about that.
That's true. No one does talk about that.
Yeah, it's just because the square, like, sort of coincides with his pants, and it's hard to notice that because his body, as he has gone on record saying, is also his face. So it's a little hard to really notice that, I
He's got a
suppose.
tie.
But it's got a tie. You can't put a tie on pants. I mean, you can. It'll just look really dumb. But I'm not even going to go into a spiel here. Like, literally, what else is there to say? It's SpongeBob mother effing SquarePants, dude. He's borderline Mickey Mouse at this point. He's one of the most recognizable characters on the face of the planet at this point. They even got commercials over in Japan where they got like little McDonald's toys that go with them, and they're like, Happy Centunic SpongeBob! Like, that's a real commercial. Look it up. And so I don't think there's any, and I think he's definitely going to beat the other, his round one, which we got here. Kyle, who's that?
A little upsetting.
This one hurts me. Yeah, I'm kind of upset about this. This is the numbers 16 seed in this region, Cat and Dog from the show Cat Dog. I'm kind of upset that they split it up like that, but like I get it. But yeah,
it's kind of like a banger theme song.
Yeah, man. Like this show had heart.
Y'all
remember that episode of Cat Dog where like they find out like what they do to the other's teeth happens to the other one? So they just start destroying their own teeth. That is the most disgusting thing ever. That scarred me. Literally scarred. I was like, what is happening? Their teeth are like rotting and stuff. And I'm like, ah!
I just remember there was like, I every time they like there was episodes of like Cat Dog's Anatomy. It just like always bothered me as a kid. Like there was an episode where like they have to like drain the water out of this pool. And like, I think like Dog like sucks the water out of the pool, and then it shoots out of Cat's mouth on the other end. And I'm just like, that's not okay. Like what?
Look, at the very least, like we know that SpongeBob does not have to shit. He does not have to shit out of his own mouth. Cat Dog does. They share like one endocrine system. There's no biological way that can go in both ends. It's not even a Siamese twin thing at that point. It's like the body. It's like what? Hey, you know what? I'm actually starting to understand the number one seed. Because you want to know why? Their body is sort of also their face, just like SpongeBob. Is that the correlation that they made for the round one? If it is, I think it's actually genius. But
I think it's Dog. I just think it no pun intended. But like I think it's just wrong. Like there's no way this is a 16 seed. Like Cat Dog is not like a top 5 seed. That show definitely like came and went, but it was a really really good show for its time. It was and I remember like vivid memories of having a like a Cat Dog toy as a kid that was like an accordion in the middle, and it was like my favorite toy for like at least like 6 years of my life. It was great. So, yeah, I guess we'll get to the voting process here. That's why I wanted to have an odd number of guests, so that way there are no ties. But I think we're all in conjunction here. I think we're moving SpongeBob on in hand over fist.
Mm-hmm. Happy Centunic SpongeBob.
Hand over fist.
Yeah. One fine day with a wolf and a purr. As we move on to the 8 and 9 matchup. This one's hard.
I was gonna say, bro, like what?
I mean, it's an 8 and 9 seed. You know, those are like they're pretty close to each other.
Yeah, those are like those like winners quarters like matches, the real hype ones before top 8 starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the risk of getting in there. Not to make a dumb like Smash reference, but you know what I mean. It's like that's kind of how it feels like. Kyle. Koopa, please read this one out because it's physically hurting me. Yeah,
so this matchup was in the 8 and the 9 seed. The 8 seed, Cosmo and Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents, going up against Jimmy Neutron of Jimmy Neutron. This one sucks because like I've said this on like multiple other platforms and in like my personal life, but these two shows are like in my opinion 2 and 3 behind SpongeBob in regards to like how often I can quote these shows off the top of my head. Like they're both so good. Like they had a crossover and they're making them fight in the first round. It's wrong.
Well, it isn't Timmy. So, all right. So I'm gonna tell you right now. The real answer is it's definitely not Jimmy because Jimmy is 100% like one of the worst parts about his own show.
That was my exact thought process.
He is carried by Hugh Neutron and then Sheen and Carl. Like. They're way better than Jimmy. Jimmy just causes problems.
He definitely does have that, like, I'm sure as we go through this, there'll be other shows that, like, that also becomes glaringly obvious. But, like, there's definitely a carried by your supporting cast sort of mood here. So, yeah, it's hard, though, because, like, I think Actually, I don't think it's that hard. That I think about it.
It's like, what are we judging the criteria on? You know what I mean? Because I do agree with like, it's hard because I do agree with Hungry in the sense that like it's not Timmy. And Timmy is what causes all the problems based on the dumb crap, selfish crap that he wishes for. Cosmo and Wanda just have like a legal obligation to abide by it. Jimmy Neutron, yeah, he's a genius and he solves the problems at the end of the day.
He causes them too.
Exactly. Like every episode.
It's all his own
It's
hubris.
his fault. It's literally and metaphorically, it's his own hubris. So it's hard. And, Jimmy Neutron, I feel like, him by himself. And if the thing is, that's important as a plot device. That he's the one who often messes us up, but he saves it at the end of the day as well. Like, so without Jimmy, obviously, despite the fact he's sort of carried by the supporting cast, there still is no show because he creates the problems in the first place. But at the same time, though, Jimmy by himself, I think most people can agree is not the best character on that show. And most people will say Sheen. A ton of people will say Carl nowadays, because Carl is still an active meme nowadays, for sure. We even just had Ajax recently, like, do his, like, Carl impression on, on a stream. Like, Jimmy's mom, I love you. So it's like a real... he's still prevalent in that sense, but, Hungry said he's not, what sort of carries the show. Meanwhile... I can't count.
Pretty funny.
Exactly. Like, I can't count on my two hands the amount of times that Cosmo alone has made me, like, burst out laughing as a child and an adult. So, if I'm being objective
here... right, make a left.
I use that all the time in, like, my daily, like, more often than I should.
Sheen, you seem kind of down.
Oh, my God. Carl's not 100%.
I'm not bright. Big words confuse me. I have the attention span of a rodent. Like, there's just so many like good like one-off Cosmo lines, and Wanda's like pretty funny too. Like,
yeah, she has her moments.
Like, I just like I don't think we talked enough about like the Fairly Odd Parents. Just such like a great show. Like those like it definitely fell off a cliff real fast. Like once the show started jumping multiple sharks, but those first like 4 or 5 or I honestly think that like I think the Fairly Odd Parents was a better show longer than SpongeBob was a good show. If you guys, that's my hot take.
You mean Jimmy Neutron?
When was Poof introduced? Like, what season was that?
I'm gonna do a quick search on that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, that was kind of like when the show started heading toward rock bottom.
Let's see. Poof debuted in. Give me a season here. He was born Fairly Odd Baby, which was in season 6.
Not bad.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think SpongeBob kind of falls off after those first 4 seasons. I think season 5 I'd have to look through like what episodes are in like season 5 of the Fairly Odd
seasons
Parents.
1 through 3 were like unstoppable. Like,
yeah.
Are we still talking about SpongeBob or Jimmy Neutron? I'm confused.
SpongeBob.
I'm talking about the Fairly Odd Parents.
Well, we're talking about the Fairly Odd Parents and we're talking about SpongeBob, even though SpongeBob is not currently relevant. I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember season 5.
I'd have to like look through like what's like there. I don't really remember shows like this. I don't really remember seasons as much as I do just like stand out like episodes and stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna just ignore that comment for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in my vote for Cosmo and Wanda.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Seems I'm outnumbered then. I don't think my vote matters, and it's really too hard for me to decide anyway, because I think Jimmy Neutron, if I rewatched that show like about a year ago or a year or two ago, actually, wow, I keep forgetting about the time skip, I guess 3 years ago, that show, it only got better as it went on. In my humble opinion, I think that show only got better as it went on, and Fairly Odd Parents only got worse. Personally, I like Jimmy. I think I actually like Jimmy Neutron a little bit more of a show than Fairly Odd Parents, personally. But at the same time, Cosmo and Wanda, like I feel like you said, Jimmy Neutron I think is supported, a little bit carried by its supporting cast, and like I said, Cosmo's made me laugh just so many times. So I'm just gonna say, for the sake of it and my personal bias here, it's too close to decide. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Neutron, but Cosmo and Wanda moves on anyway because you two both got it.
I mean, I feel like whoever wins this, everyone's going to run
kind of
into
a
a
losing.
buzzsaw.
That's a losing battle
War.
here.
Yeah,
It's
but we continue on here as we move on to the 5 and 12 matchup.
I'm sure these seeds are backwards, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. So the number 5 seed is he is Little Pete Ringley from the Nickelodeon hit comedy show The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which ran for 3 seasons in the mid-90s on Nickelodeon. Played, now, again, before we get into it, going up against the number 12 seed, the titular Danny Phantom from the show Danny Phantom. Yeah, this is kind of fucked up, but let me just remind you guys, Little Pete is portrayed by legendary Nickelodeon actor and a man that knows his way around getting slime, Danny Tamborelli. So, also the voice of Jimmy in Grand Theft Auto 5. Not sure if I remember that or not. That was interesting. Yeah, range. Yeah. Listen, I have very little memories of the Adventures of Pete and Pete. So,
who's this Ron Weasley looking motherfucker?
He was on all that,
bro. I'm just Danny Phantom.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't. This pot dumb. I'm not talking with anybody. Danny Phantom.
Yeah, this is a pretty.
He's
easy
here to
upset
fight for me and you.
Yeah.
How could we betray him like that?
You know what? In an era of
he was just 14.
You could definitely read the theme song of Danny Phantom as like a dramatic poem, and it has the same effect.
Yo, like a slam poetry night. Yo, Danny Phantom, he was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. Like, I could totally see that as like the hottest like slam poetry. Like, just get like the little snaps at the end and everything.
Yeah, this was so good. Like in an era now where like we have all these awful like Butch Hartman like spin-off shows, like Danny Phantom was the one that like definitely stuck.
I heard
yeah, you remember Tough Puppy? Me neither.
No, Tough Puppy was.
I heard it was good. I heard it was good.
No, like in all seriousness, it was kind of underrated. He had like one show after that I think was pretty poopy. And
I was depressed because Beast, which I never watched either.
Yeah. Sucks because Jerry Trainer finally got like a voice role in one of like these Nickelodeon cartoons, and
that was in Tough Puppy.
Yeah, he was Tough Puppy. He was
Puppy.
The titular character in that show.
Puppy.
That show was, from what I remember, not like bad. The theme song was pretty good.
I never heard someone say something negative about it. So,
any theme song that can like work in the phrase "chew his butt" and like not have it be weird is like pretty dope. But we're not here to talk about Tough Puppy. We're here to talk about Danny Phantom.
Who wins?
I'm like, clean sweep. Like, this show is so good. Danny Phantom is
body bag.
I'm like, the characters are great. The writing is clever, and like in an era like this is around that era where like Nickelodeon was like trying to give you like a little bit more to chew on, like plot wise on these shows. Like, it was a little bit more self-serious. Like, there was definitely like overarching conflict, and this is cool. Danny Phantom looks cool. The characters are iconic, and yeah, I don't know what else there needs to be said.
The show like was funny alone by itself as a serial show, but still had such underlying amazing episodic development and character development of every character in that show as it went on. Danny Phantom only got better as it went on. Like, it had that like same like serial style that like Butch Hartman's earlier shows like Fairly Odd Parents had, which already in itself made the show watchable enough as it is. And then it had this crazy episodic arc of Danny like slowly being discovered, trying to hide his identity, like more people discovering who he is, like the publicity that he was getting that he didn't want because of it. And the character development in that show was nutty. So, honest to God, if you haven't watched Danny Phantom, do it right now. It's on Hulu. Like, to turn off the podcast. Turn it off. Go watch Danny Phantom right now. It was really that great of a show, and honestly, it's the cleanest sweep, because I don't know who this Ron Weasley-looking motherfucker is, but he does not pale in comparison to my boy Danny Phantom, who defended us all at the young age of 14.
Yeah. I remember Danny Tamborelli. He was better as
only 14.
Oh God.
Danny
Tamborelli just was like way better as like a contestant on Figure It Out because like whenever he didn't know an answer, he would just like scream that he doesn't know what it is, and then he would just like move on. But yeah, Danny Phantom moves on here, and he will face off against the winner of the 4 and 13 matchup. The battle of the
this is an actual close one.
Yeah, this is Battle of the Game Show host Mark Summers and Mike O'Malley. Mark Summers, the host of the ever successful Double Dare, and Mike O'Malley, the host of Guts and all of its various spinoffs. So this is kind of a tough one. Like both these are like seriously like famous people that like worked at Nickelodeon. Like Mike O'Malley went on, I think, to like he did a couple of other things, but I think he was like most known besides this from like a reoccurring role in Glee. And Mark Summers obviously went on to like do a lot of stuff at the Food Network and stuff. So this is kind of a tough one.
Nickelodeon Guts. Do you got it or do you have it? I think it's do you have it.
It's do you have it. And it's like it's hard. Like I
comparing the shows, Double Dare is maybe like a little more iconic because it kind of like solidified the slime kind of thing aspect of Nick.
Yeah, like the gross. Like when I think of like Nickelodeon and like that era, I think of like really gross, like disgust, like I don't know, gross like prop stuff. Like I remember they had like a big affiliation for like slime and like gack or like whatever the hell they call it, and Double Dare definitely like ran with that because I just have vivid memories of that one obstacle on the show where like you have to like pick something out of like a thing's nose. Like it was pretty gnarly. And like Double Dare obviously I think was like the more successful show. It ran on for like because then there was like Triple Double Dare and then there was like Family Double Dare. So like there was like a couple of spinoffs there where Guts only really had the international version. And Guts was a
Mike
fun.
O'Malley's pretty hype though.
Yeah, Mike O'Malley is pretty hype, and that show was a lot of fun. Like nothing compares in hype, like I said, to the aggro crag. Like the giant obstacle you climb once you reach the end of your the final round of Guts. It's like it's daunting. Like it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I know David's a little bit younger, so he doesn't have like much that like. Have you seen like any like semblance of these shows, like maybe in like reruns or anything?
No. I do not know either of these gentlemen. I'm gonna be honest. I've been pretty silent. I got no say.
All right,
sorry.
David. So
I'm a zoomer.
And it's fine. We'll force you in one direction or the other. This one's hard though. So Hungry.
I'm already leaning towards Double Dare because like I agree with Hungry in the fact that it was sort of like the birth of what Nickelodeon's identity was. Really brought the whole like slime, gross out like aesthetic into it, which really like changed the course of the network. At the very least, that like impacted stuff like in like a generation like a little afterwards that didn't watch this kind of stuff. So I guess Mark Summers has had like that much more of an impact on me than Mike O'Malley was, who hosted this Nickelodeon Guts thing, which is a little before my time. I don't even know what that is. So I guess that's my pick.
I'm voting for Mike O'Malley.
Ooh, that's a hard one. You know what? I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with Mike O'Malley.
My God.
I think like Double Dare was fun, but like Guts was like, if you were on Guts, you were super cool. Like, and I just
everyone wanted to be on Guts, man.
Yeah, like there's this one video that's like I found on YouTube like a few weeks ago. It's called like the worst Guts contestant ever, and there's just this poor guy that like because like you had to like do these like extreme sports challenges and stuff. Like they'd hook you up into harnesses and like you'd be like white water rafting like inside and stuff. Like it was like stupid what they would make you do. And like this poor kid just like could not like move his boat. Like I felt so bad for him. But we move on as Mike O'Malley moves on to the next round. The 6 and 11 matchup. This one also kind of tough. The 6th seed, Chucky Finster from the Rugrats going up against Steve Burns or just Steve from Blue's Clues.
He had a last name.
I mean that's his like actual last name.
Oh.
So. Did I just dock Steve Burns?
What's the Blue's Clues lore? I need to know. What's his last name? He got mail all the time. He sang a whole damn song about it, so obviously he has like a government legal last name.
Did not. Yeah, I remember that.
What are you talking about?
There was like a rumor that he was dead for like a long time, and then he's like,
Oh yeah,
"No, I'm not. I'm not dead." Yeah,
yeah. I remember he had to go on like the Rosie O'Donnell show of like all things to like let people know it's like, hey, I'm not dead. I think like the actual story behind that is that like I think the guy that Steve Burns, the actor, like started going bald at like a really young age, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to like lose my hair on national TV, so I quit. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, this is hard. Like, I really like both of these shows. Like, I watched Blue's Clues as like a very like one of my favorite shows as a kid because like there's it's educational television. It was on all the time. It was incredibly popular, but also I watched a lot of the Rugrats around that same time. So I don't know. Like, where do you guys feel in like both of these shows in general?
Blues could do. We can too. I watched a lot of Blues Clues growing up, and then like the continuation of like the Steve Burns character in the show is also really cool. Like he like trained the next guy in the show, and then like when they put the next guy, like all three of them were on a phone call like together. Like that was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. If you don't know what we're talking about, like Blue's Clues got rebooted. I think it was like last year, and the host of the show, like in the first episode, there's a cameo appearance from Steve and Joe, who's the guy that replaces Steve after the fact. And I thought that was cool. As someone
He's a
that
detective looking for clues in real life. Well, his life, his Nick life. So he's kind of hype.
I could have said it better myself. David, what do you think? What are your thoughts on these shows?
Bro, the mail never fails.
That being said, Rugrats definitely a better show than Blue's Clues.
I feel like the two are just relatively incomparable. One is very important to the development of a child, and the other one is just very iconic. But Blue's Clues at the same time,
scarring to the development of a child.
Yes.
Yo, the big baby. Yo.
Blue's Clues really impacted me as a child in like a good way, my friend. I don't know. And I'm reading this stuff about Steve Burns right now. He's like, yeah, I just didn't want to go bald on a TV show. That's what it was, straight up. That is wild.
Yeah.
Man, glad to see he's doing all right though, and none of that other crazy stuff about him wound up being true. It's interesting because Chucky Finster is sort of represents the idea that just because you're scared doesn't mean you're not strong. That character is a reminder of that, like sort of like the Luigi style of character, where like he's scared as hell to do these things, but he does them anyway. Because he knows that he has to for his friends and for his loved ones. And that's what true bravery is. It's not being scared. It's powering through when you are scared. And Chucky Finster, for the most part, represents that. There were some episodes where he was just a little bitch, didn't do anything, and, literally cried in a corner. And other ones where he like, what's up?
Let's not forget All Grown Up, because that, I don't know, man.
Are we talking about Rugrats? Are we talking about Are we talking about Rugrats Chucky Finster? Or are we talking about All Grown Up Chucky Finster?
Yo, they're related. They're the same person.
They're the same person.
A person changes in 10 years, Hungry.
Yeah, I don't. What if I didn't like that?
That show was. It's funny. They recently like rebooted the Rugrats, and I like watched it, and it was all right. I thought it was funny. And then, like, I caught, like, a couple of episodes of, like, the older show and also a few episodes of All Grown Up because, like, I feel like that show is in a constant state of being canceled all the time. And then I watch it. I'm just like, oh, no wonder. The show fucking sucks.
Wow.
It was not Rugrats. Like, it just felt weird to me. That being said, though, I agree with what David said. Like, Chucky Finster is definitely the embodiment of just, like, even if you're scared to do, even if you're scared, like, doesn't mean you don't, like, stand up for, like, what you believe in.
And also remember, if Chucky does not exist, the apocalypse happens.
That's true.
Actually, you know what? I am going to vote Chucky here, specifically because of the bravery thing. And do you know why? He stands up for everything despite being absolutely afraid to, and Steve Burns was too afraid, so he quit a show because he was too scared of going bald in front of a bunch of preschoolers who wouldn't even fucking remember. I'm voting for Chucky.
The apocalypse happened.
That is true. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, they had like a what is the movie? Like the famous movie? It's
Rugrats in Paris?
No. The, the guy that wishes he was never born.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget what that was called.
A Wonderful Life.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
from that.
I'm definitely gonna vibe with Chucky Finster here. Like, I also I just recently watched like the Rugrats movies again. They still hold up really well. Chucky Chan is still a banger. That song is so good.
I vote Chucky.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Clean sweep for Chucky Finster. Congratulations. As we move on, we're getting to near bottom of this bracket here.
This is the hard one. This is the
3
hard
seed
one.
versus the 14 seed. Kel Kimball from Keenan and Kel going up against Reggie Rocket from Rocket Power.
Regina.
Oof. This is a tough one. This is really, really hard.
I have my answer, though.
All right, go off.
Reggie, he was kind of a bitch. Like, let's be honest. Like, he would just, like...
I thought Reggie was the sister.
Huh?
Reggie's the sister, isn't she?
Yeah. Reggie was the sister.
Otto is the brother.
Ah, man. I'm messed up right now.
His dad has like a really similar name, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Raymundo.
Okay, so I'm all mixed up. That's all right.
You
cut that part out.
I'm not going to, but it's fine.
You cut it out. This is classified information. All right. Still, the best parts of the Rocket Power were the parents. Well, it was dad and
Tito,
yeah.
Yeah.
And Cal was hype.
The best way out of corner pressure, little causes.
The memes are pretty good. Yeah, this is a hard one.
Bury the jab out of the
drop the screw in
David,
the
you're
tuna.
a little bit younger than us. Did you ever see like either of these shows? Like,
I want to hit like the down taunt on the stage and have just like Tito talk about every fighter in the game. Like the little like 1-2 frame taunt that like the Star Fox characters and like the Kid Icarus ones can do.
Yeah,
I want like special smash taunts and Nick All Stars for Tito.
Oh Jesus, the ancient Hawaiian saying.
Oh my lord. Yeah, Keenan and Kel, little before my time. Everybody raves about this show though. I totally understand it. Yeah, Rocket Power? No, Rocket Power I watched. Very vague memories of that show too, not as much. This one, I feel like I personally could go either way. I don't have too much to say on it. I did watch Rocket Power. I did watch that show, but I was incredibly young. I really do not remember much of it. All I remember is Tito makes me laugh, so let's go Tito. So that's all I got. That's all I got. Like, talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about on this one. I'm sorry. I'm such a zoomer.
Can I take your order?
There.
Lovely.
And we're nothing happened. What are you talking about?
I cut that part out. What?
Yeah, Keenan and Kel. I love this show. Keenan and Kel's great. Me and again, it's a little bit like that was like of one of my like earlier memories of like Nickelodeon shows. I was like maybe like 9 or 10 when the show was still like airing in reruns. Like I know, Hungry, I know you really like this show.
Yeah, it's really good, man. I mean, it was like Drake and Josh before Drake and Josh.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like it's so funny. Like it holds. I haven't like gone back to like watch a lot of it. I will say the Keenan and Kel holiday special is like one of my favorite holiday specials of all time. It's very funny. I just remember Keenan's dad like constantly getting like very angry. Like that always led for like fun humor. I put the screw in the tuna, like iconic.
Dude, orange soda. It's raining orange soda.
Yeah. This is definitely like the peak for orange soda. I think this is why I like orange soda so much. Do you guys like orange soda?
I do, but I definitely was like, yeah, orange soda was great. Let's go to the show at first.
That being said, though, yeah, Reggie Rocket Power again. I agree with you. I think some of the best aspects of Rocket Power are like the adults, because like something about Rocket Power, like I don't know, like I liked watching it, but like it's not something that like stands.
The characters were never all that great to me.
Yeah,
like the main cast.
And it's I don't know, it's hard. Like it's definitely
it had some like darker moments, and those were cool. I was like, whoa. I'm too young for this.
I think there's an episode where like I think like Otto like breaks his leg on a mountain like snowboarding. Like that's some wild
there's
stuff.
there's like a tropical storm or whatever.
Yeah,
and they get caught out. I'm like, yo, he's gonna die for real.
That show definitely went there. Like it got weird, but
definitely a cool show. But it
was pretty extreme. But moving on, let's get to the voting process. David, as the Zoomer in the group, who are you voting for?
I flip a coin.
All right, we'll flip it. Was it heads? It's heads. Heads, you vote for Kel. Tails, it's Reggie.
I don't actually have a coin. Hold on.
There's a Google app for that. There's a Google app for everything.
I got an actual coin here. Here we go. No, I got it. Hold on a second.
My coin was Tails.
Mine too, actually. So
all right, so that's a vote for Reggie Rocket. Hungry.
Word.
I'm voting for Kel.
I'm also voting for Kel. Kel is
coin flip did not matter.
Yeah. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. It's iconic. It's so good. And as we move on, near the bottom of the bracket here, the 7 versus 10 matchup. One of my personal favorite characters in a Nickelodeon show, Mosquito Skeeter Valentine from Doug, going up against the character played by Lori Beth Dinberg and all that, Mrs. Hushbaum, who was like a librarian that, like, again, the gag of, I think the gist of the
loud,
skit,
right?
Yeah, it's just you're loud and she's loud. That being said, though, I
have my answer.
Yeah, I have my answer. It's Skeeter. Skeeter's great.
Skeeter's great.
Skeeter, like it's such a great name. Like Doug as a show is like weird. We'll talk about it in a little bit because there's some other characters littered throughout here. But like Doug like looked weird, but like it was always a show that like I had like on in the background, and it was fun. It was a from what I remember, like I enjoyed myself. I just remember I vividly remember like a holiday special where like this girl thinks that like Pork Chop is like attacking her, and then like Pork Chop was like trying to like save her life or something like that, and then they're just like, nah, we got to get rid of Pork Chop, and I'm like, what? Like, excuse me? It's kind of fucked up. But yeah, Skeeter's great. Big fan of Skeeter. David, do you got any opinion on any of these shows?
Always vote for Skeeter, never a cheater.
There you go.
And there we go, folks. We're moving on. Skeeter
He's an
Valentine.
underachiever.
He's not a clean sweep.
Yeah, clean sweep. Again, great name. Mosquito Valentine. Like, I love that.
And then the next one.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of clean sweeps.
Yeah, this one we won't dwell on too long. The 2 versus 15 matchup. Aang from Avatar, Last Airbender, going up against Binya from the Nick Jr. hit show Gullah Gullah Island. Come on. What are we doing here?
Can we just move on?
If you guys wanted to learn more about Gullah Gullah Island, there's a great defunct TV video about it. Watch it. It's very educational. Avatar is one of the best shows ever made. So it's gonna be a clean sweep there for Aang as he moves on to the next round. And now, like we said, we're gonna start. We're gonna keep it. Yeah, we're gonna keep it in this region still as we move on. And now that we've kind of like discussed who these characters are and like how we feel about the shows, we don't have to dwell like too long on these picks. So, the round of 32 matchup is SpongeBob SquarePants versus Cosmo and Wanda. I'm just gonna say it. This is
it's SpongeBob.
It's SpongeBob.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Even at like the highs of the Fairly Odd Parents, it does not touch SpongeBob.
This is a meat grinder like side of the bracket. It's like,
yeah,
like nope.
Everybody's gonna get doused here. So
even
SpongeBob,
if you're good, it's SpongeBob.
Yeah, one show really affected our childhoods in a very positive way, and then the other one is literally like evolved into our speech. With how much the show has like impacted our generation, it's no contest. It's SpongeBob.
Yeah, no, that's you hit the nail right on the head. So SpongeBob, moving on to the Sweet 16. The next matchup we have Danny Phantom versus Mike O'Malley, the 12 and 13 matchup, both making upsets in the first round. This one's as much as I enjoy Mike O'Malley, I'm riding with my man Danny Phantom.
This one's a little easy too. So
we don't sweat, we simmer.
Show really showcased the range of Rob Paulson. Usually voice like
hi, Carl.
Like, and then he also plays Danny's dad, who sounds nothing like that, like at all.
Random bit of trivia. You know Rob Paulson's son follows me on Twitter?
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend's brother still follows me, and I think that's weird, but I guess that's not as interesting.
Let's move on.
Moving on.
I wasn't going to go into more detail about that. I just thought it was a similar situation.
Let's move on.
Moving on. I lost my train of thought. Next matchup: Chucky Finster versus Kel Kimball. This one, you know what?
This one's hard.
It's hard. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, do you go with like the down on his luck, like, comic relief character, or do you go with like, the heart of the show? I think the Kel is like the core of like Keenan and Kel.
Yeah, Keenan was definitely the straight man, to Kel's wild. But Chucky, it's like, I don't know, man. He's got an arc,
Yeah, he does.
He's a more developed character. Personally, for me, I definitely like Rugrats better.
Yeah, I also agree with you.
This is definitely a tough one, but I'm going with Chucky.
I think I'm also going to go with Chucky.
I was going to vote for Chucky anyway, if I'm being honest. He reminds me of myself as a child and has impacted me personally a lot more. It was 3-0, so.
But it was close.
That is true. That is the epitome.
Oh, man, Glenn tweets be like...
Yeah.
As now we get to the bottom half of our bracket there. Skeeter versus Aang. Again, no contest in my opinion. Like,
yeah, Aang is another meat grinder.
Yeah, like it's kind of sucks that like Aang's had like two pretty cakewalky like beginning matchups. Like at least like
Skeeter's a good character.
Skeeter's a great character, but like Aang is like he's Aang. He's the best. He's the Avatar. Like we'll have other instances to talk about Avatar like a little bit more in depth when like it's not like a complete meat grinder. But yeah, Aang gonna be moving on to the sweet. That's technically the Sweet 16 round. So that next matchup is going to be SpongeBob versus Danny Phantom.
Oh, this is where it gets hard, boys.
And I'm still voting for SpongeBob.
And
I'm also Danny Phantom is great.
I'm also still voting for SpongeBob. I think like it's hard. Like as much as I love Danny Phantom and like I love the characters and I love the world building and I love all of that stuff, it's just like SpongeBob is just like we've mentioned. It's like
he's like a level above, man. It's really hard to take him down.
And even if he wasn't, those two shows are apples and oranges. You know what I mean? Like very, very different style. But like, SpongeBob, like I said, he's just too impactful. He really is. I could definitely see him winning the whole bracket, but that's a bridge to cross when we come to it.
He's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a hard one to beat. So SpongeBob moves on to the Elite Eight as we get down to the bottom half of our bracket where we're going to have Chucky Finster versus Aang. And again,
it's clean sweep.
Yeah,
Aang takes it.
I still don't.
It's hard.
It's hard. Like
we could make them actually fight.
Yeah,
and the result would be the same.
Child being murdered.
Yeah,
like the result would be the same. It would still be a clean sweep.
He wouldn't kill him.
He just take away his ability to talk. Yeah,
he'd probably scare him. He'd be like,
Yeah. He's trying to marry his dad.
Bro, just like form up like a wind ball or something just to try to have him like go on like a roundabout, like have some fun. Meanwhile, Chucky's just like pissing his pants the whole time. He's just scared, not even enjoying
it.
Trying to make him like more of a free spirit, and I got to give it to Aang for that. So yeah, there you go. That's my boy.
Yeah, Aang's great. Avatar is fantastic, and we now get to. This is to get into the final four. So
this is the actual tough one.
This is a hard one. Like because both of these shows like culturally have impacted like not just like our I could say like our generation like really like swears by these two shows. So it's really hard to pick. It's like
my lord, it's like. If we're going for me, like, I would initially say SpongeBob just because he's impacted me, and I didn't watch Avatar as a child. Like, I waited until I was an adult, but that show was so brilliantly written and still hit me as an adult, unlike the actual kind of difficulties that you can have in growing up as a child. Like, the metaphors and the analogies that Avatar makes as a show is second to none. You know what I mean? Like it makes me think of like love as a child, like growing up, overseeing, adversaries and stuff, something like that. It correlates it to actual like issues that somebody has as a child could have better than any show I've ever seen. Especially considering the fact that all the, as far as I'm concerned, I think all the main characters who were children were also voiced by children, which kind of helped with the immersion, which good on Nick for getting that many child actors. If I want to make it a little easier for myself,
child actors,
exactly, which
was phenomenal.
God knows that's not easy to find. But I mean, that's more so on the production side of things. So to try to make it a little easier for myself, I could say that like, a lot of those like lessons and stuff and like really broken metaphors of growing up as a kid or a teenager and the adversities they face, it wasn't all Aang. I learned a lot of that stuff through like, Zuko, and through Sokka as well, and even Katara to an extent. And I'm saying that because like hers is a little different as far as, like my experience goes. Still a broken character, easily one of the most broken ones in that show, potentially the most. I could give it to SpongeBob for the sheer fact that Avatar's writing is what made the show so impactful for me, and Aang was a big, massive part of that, but it wasn't all him. You know what I mean? Like SpongeBob sort of like can contest with that because of how impactful it was.
Carry the show. Like he's obviously one of the best parts of that show. So it's like kind of similar in that way. So like Patrick, Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Sandy, Gary.
It's true. There are like both these supporting casts are really strong, but I just think I'm willing to lock in my vote right now. And I think I'm going to vote for Aang because I think as a show, like a contained show, like we brought up before, SpongeBob definitely like fell off a cliff after a certain point, and it's like really struggled to like regain a lot of that like confidence. And again, SpongeBob as a character is great, but like I just think Aang as like the journey that Aang goes on is so beautifully written and like so beautifully like put on display. And for a show of that era in like 2004 when the show was like airing, like I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again. So I'm locking in my vote for Aang.
Okay. This is the most difficult decision I've ever had to make in my life. I mean, honest to God, like, if you held a gun to my head right now, I wouldn't be able to really choose which one of these two it is. They're both such insanely impactful characters, and I could think that Aang has, on top of the amazing character development that character has made me laugh as much as he did as an adult when I watched Avatar for the first time. That show still impacted me probably as hard as it would have if I was a child as an adult. And I can probably say that SpongeBob might not have done that. Like, SpongeBob is as impactful to our generation as it is because we all watched it at that same ripe time of our childhoods. I feel like if we all watched SpongeBob now, we'd still enjoy it, but it wouldn't have that same impact of ingraining. You know what I mean? Avatar, even my sister doesn't even really watch, that kind of stuff as much. She watched Avatar when it came to Netflix. She loved it. She absolutely loved that show, and I'm like, okay, that really explains a lot considering the kind of stuff that my sister likes. It's incredibly difficult, but SpongeBob being the serialized show that it is a little different because Avatar could have been serialized, but it was still one of the best episodic stories that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how much that necessarily has to do with the character, though. It's hard to take that in a comparison. Like, I'm trying to compare them. I feel like I'm talking about the writing of the show back and forth, like, between the two others, and that's not just an Aang thing. And it's not just a SpongeBob thing, Like, we're talking strictly the characters right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's... Oh, God, this is hard. This is so hard. I think I know where I'm leaning right now, but before I do, Hungry, help. Please, God, help me.
Well, this is definitely like a very like kind of messed up matchup. This is like comparing like
they shouldn't
Michael
be in the same
Corleone
bracket.
to like Charlie Chaplin. It's like it's like two completely different worlds. Michael Corleone is from The Godfather. If you're uncultured,
or if you're just an extreme zoomer.
Yeah. So, and if you know what Charlie Chaplin is, Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's like, who is better at what they do? That's kind of like the question that ends up coming out, right?
Yeah.
So who's
it's
better
hard.
at what, like at what? As a comedic character, SpongeBob might be the best. Like,
Yeah.
he might be the funniest character, definitely in Nickelodeon's history.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
Right? And then Aang,
Yeah.
a more serious character. Yeah, he obviously has his own comedic aspect to him, but definitely a more serious and more well thought out and written character who's, his arc is very, well defined, and though his kind of like philosophy through life ends up affecting a bunch of other characters, right? But is he the best at what he does? Is he the best character on that show? My answer is that he isn't. Even though he's fantastic, right? And this is like this is the mail-in votes coming in.
Yeah.
Right?
P.O. Box Arhungry.
So if I had to, like, on a merit, I'm gonna vote for SpongeBob.
Ooh, this is hard. All right, David.
We're not talking about SpongeBob the show versus Avatar: Last Airbender the show. Even though those
this
two,
is fair.
We go based on writing here. We've been talking about that quite a lot. But I mentioned prior that in Avatar, a lot of the lessons you learn from that show is not just from Aang. There are episodes that have nothing to do with Aang that are some of the best in the show, and that really like talk about the amazing, impactful lessons that you learn as like a child or like a teenager, like friggin' Toph. Look at Toph and like her arc and like the whole fact that the show never treats her quote unquote disability as a disability. It's just her quirk. You know what I mean? And she makes her own way with it. That's a huge message to teach disabled kids. That's got nothing to do with Aang. I'm trying to think of, like, we've been talking about writing this whole time, or I have. How many episodes of SpongeBob can you say are good without SpongeBob?
not a
There
lot.
are amazing characters in that show that that really help and, make SpongeBob not my personal favorite character in the show, but all the impactful, insanely quotable stuff, it's in one way or another correlated to him, whereas Avatar, Aang is himself as an amazing character, but he's got a lot of the typical like main anime character traits, and I've learned a lot of like the lessons that you learn from that show, not from him. Whereas SpongeBob, if he was not present in many of the episodes, the jokes and sayings and quotes from that show that impact us in the way that they do would not really exist. I was actually going to vote for Aang at first, and I was going to say, Gabe OG, eat your heart out, but after this discussion, no, I got to go with SpongeBob. I'm locking it in.
Yeah, listen, I can't disagree with... There's no losers here, only SpongeBob.
These two should have been in different brackets, man. That was hard.
Yeah, this is rough, and we'll talk about that as we move along here. So, SpongeBob, congratulations on locking in your spot out of the Bikini Bottom region. Makes sense. As he will be one of our 4 contestants squaring off in the final 4. And I think, for fun, let's move on over to the right of our screen to the Bluffington region, where I got some beef. This is going to be a rough one as we take a look at the 1-16 matchup here. Doug Funny from Doug versus Nigel Thornberry of the Wild Thornberries. This is a crime. Why is Doug a number 1 seed in this bracket?
Oh, yeah. Especially his round 1 is gonna beat him.
Yeah.
He's gonna get upset, bro.
Yeah. Eliza, I appear to be getting corner pressured in my left eye. Muppet.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Let me ask you just one question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is in Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl?
Yeah.
And who's not? And who's not? And who's not?
Get fucked, Doug. That's a good
Doug,
point.
and let's be real here. Doug got picked up by Disney. Like, that's how bad it got
that's for
him.
sure.
Yeah,
That's for
facts.
sure.
Okay, that's enough of a reason. Nigel Thornberry. Let's go.
It needs not be said. Nigel Thornberry is one of the best characters. He's the best. He's
Bottom seed in that bracket. Oh my
that's
god!
I'd like to talk to
upset.
who wrote this. I'm very upset. So that's an easy one. Nigel Thornberry going on over Doug Funny. Come on. I'm not even going to entertain it anymore.
Not to say Doug's a bad character.
Yeah, Doug's fine. Like
he's just all right.
Here's a great
here's
a great episode of Doug, because like Doug's big thing is that he writes in a journal at the end of every episode. And there's an episode where he like loses his journal and he tries to like write on other things. And like so he's like, dear toilet paper. It's me, Doug. And it's just like for some reason it just like always stuck with me as a kid. He's like, dear multicolored planning book. I'm just like, this is so stupid. But yeah, Nigel Thornberry, like it's The Wild Thornberrys is a great show. But
he's also got
a great character.
definitely has bigger balls as well. Like you never see Doug Funny like running up to these animals like all like Steve Irwin style, like he's angry. He's angry. Like, you know, Nigel Thornberry's journal is just his life experiences, and that in itself is more badass than being a teenager and writing in that thing. Doug may have invented a whole new day, but every day was fun day for Nigel Thornberry, and that is why he gets my vote.
Yeah, that need not be said. So congrats to Nigel Thornberry with the biggest upset of the day so far. The 8 and 9 matchup. The 8 and 9 matchup. This one is, to me, IMO.
Also a clean sweep.
Sorry, Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob versus Pork Chop from Doug. As great as a character as Pork Chop is, I'm always a fan of an anthropomorphic animal in a show. Come on, man. Mr. Krabs. Like,
yeah.
I just
Clancy
Googled
Brown.
Pork Chop.
You're just spending all me money.
Look, I Google Mr. Krabs, and I get Mr. Krabs. I Google pork chop, and I got a picture of a motherfucking pork chop. So you know what? I'm voting for Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, with all due respects to Quailman and his sidekick, this is a clean sweep. Mr. Krabs is iconic. He could listen. Let's be real here. You can make a run here.
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs could definitely do some damage here. So, as we'll mosey our way down to the next matchup here again.
Eugene Krabs, why did you build a second Krusty Krab right next to the original? Money. Iconic. All right, there you go. I'm sorry. Before we moved on to the next one, I had to cut you off to just reference that. I'm sorry.
That's
it was
fine.
important.
That's fine. I decided. Yeah. So moving on, the 5 and 12 matchup in this region. Again, no contest to me. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender versus Big Pete from The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Don't give a fuck about who Big Pete is. Zuko's the best.
This bracket's a lot easier so far.
Yeah.
Low-key gonna win the whole thing. The same spoilers. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. This one also. These first 4 matches are pretty easy here. Patrick Star from SpongeBob going up against Crumb from Real Monsters. Now, if I remember correctly,
and moving on again, right?
I believe Crumb is the guy that holds his eyes with his hands.
Yeah.
Yes. Do this real quick. Yeah, again, that's a cool designed character, but also like Patrick's like one of Patrick might be the best.
Sorry, it's Patrick.
Patrick might be a better Robin than Robin.
He's making me kind of nauseous looking at him in like this photo that we have of the bracket.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean that show's
that show was actually gross.
Specifically, all the hair at the bottom of him is making me like. It's like, is that a beard? Because the beard would also sort of round about the top, but then it's also attached to his legs, which also has hair on it.
Don't try to make sense of it all.
That's the thing. It's like if I can't make sense of it all as a cartoon character, and I'm not even memeing here, if I can't make sense of it all in the design is kind of bad. And I'm not saying it's not creative, but it's unpleasant to look at. And I know that's kind of the point. And it doesn't even matter. Why are we even talking about that? It's Patrick motherfucking Star. Move on. Yeah, continue, please.
Yeah. So
who's in Nick All-Stars?
Yeah, that's true. Belina.
Leaks, bro. Come on.
That's not leaks. He was in the trailer.
I keep thinking about Zuko for some reason.
Leaks?
Yeah. You got to shake your own hand on that one.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next matchup, the 6 and 11 seed. Ed, which I believe was also a Kel Mitchell vehicle from All That, going up against Zim from Invader Zim.
I'm voting for Zim.
I'm also voting for Zim.
Same.
As much as I enjoy sketch comedy as a
Swine!
You're not gonna get away with it. Invader Zim is such a fun show, man. Like, it's like it feels like not enough people like really appreciated the show for how good it was. Like, it was a lot of fun.
He's literally going to be the Ness of Nick All Stars. He's the character
that's
that's
actually
got
gonna
like
be Lincoln Loud because he has a yo-yo. So,
well, I'm talking about in terms of legacy. Like, Zim is from the show that got canceled years ago that, like, so many people still love and has a cult following for some reason, and is the reason that he's still in this game.
this is true.
And he's going to be annoying as hell, and people are going to be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck Zim, bro! Ugh! Like, throwing their controller around. From an irrelevant old show, and then when everybody in the venue at him gets mad, and then he throws another chair, and he gets banned for 2 weeks. And that's...
Right.
Zim is going to be the Ness of the game. That's what I'm saying, but I vote for Zim. He's iconic.
Yeah, same. Invader Zim's a great show. Definitely, I defined a Hot Topic era of like the late 2000s.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Hot topic.
Yeah. No, with all due respects to, I think, again, love sketch comedy, love all that. Not in this bracket today, honey. We're moving on. The 3 and 14 seed. Again, I don't even. Eddie Gelfin, I believe, is a character from Salute Your Shorts, which is like one of the original Nickelodeon shows. And with all due respect to history, Angelica Pickles is like the clear winner here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Angelica's great. Like, she's mean.
She's a monster.
She's a terrible cousin, but like, she's a great character. It's very entertaining.
An adult man lost control of his life.
That meme is like, it's so good, man.
I'm going with Angelica.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
This is an easy bracket. So
Now
far.
this one might actually be what am I kidding? This one's not hard either.
This one's weird.
Face from Nick Jr. going up against Charlotte Pickles.
Odd choice.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You can only pick 4 characters
Where's
from each
Stu?
franchise. So that means that you picked, because obviously Tommy Pickles is in this bracket somewhere. So you picked Tommy, Chucky, Angelica, and Charlotte.
Where's Stu?
Where's Grandpa Lou? Like, where are any of the, like, this is so disrespectful. And Face is also like iconic. Like, he should be like, put some respect on Face. So I'm gonna vote for Face.
I'm voting for Face. Out of respect for Stu Pickles.
Yeah, same. I mean, he's probably not in the bracket because I don't know if he still ever regained control of his life. But, whatever. Charlotte Pickles, that's such a weird choice. She's like not even like whatever. I don't even want to dwell on it. We're pretty far into this now. Face, of course. I'm going with Face. Face, for a lot of people who might not realize it, Face was like, he wasn't even from a show. He was like from like these little like commercials, these promo commercials and in between commercials as like this like talking mascot of Nick Jr. He was literally just a face with like one color on the screen. Not like a realistic face, like a cartoon face that talked to you on the screen in between shows, like that to announce whatever show was coming next. And he really got an identity because of that. And Charlotte Pickles is literally just Angelica's mom.
Yeah, Angelica's neglectful mom.
Yeah.
That's all you have to gather from that. As we once again move on, congratulations to Face. As now we get to the bottom of the bracket here, the 2 and 15 matchup. Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life going up against Daggett Beaver from
unfortunate match.
It's very unfortunate. I love.
I
the
am voting
Beaver.
Rocco 100% of the time.
My fire, the one.
Is that your Australian accent? You got to work on
days. I was trying to do Rocco. I'm not good at it, but like I was trying. Definitely was not my Australian accent.
Garbage day is a very dangerous day.
Australian, bro.
Snoppin's a good job, mate.
Mine. That's all I got. But yeah, listen. This is again a rough one. The Angry Beavers is such an underrated show. Like it's so funny. It's got a banging theme song. I think Norbert and Daggett as characters are very funny. But Rocco's Modern Life is just like such like a great show. Like I love Rocco's Modern Life so much. So I'm definitely voting for Rocco here.
Yeah, both these shows are kind of before my time.
Rocco's is just vote for Rocco.
You can watch Rocco's today and enjoy it. So.
I agree. Yeah, I'll go with that as well. I suppose. I really meh.
Yeah, there's great like adult humor in it. Like as an adult, I feel like I'd appreciate like a lot more. Like the joke of like one of the restaurants in the show is called like Choky Chicken, and like they had to like change that to something else to like to Chewy Chicken because people are like, hey, that's a euphemism.
Maybe this will help you out here. The guy who made Rocco's Modern Life also made Camp Lazlo.
Yeah, the original ending of that show is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We don't have to get into it now.
No, we're not going to get into that. And Rocco's Modern Life also had a rebooted movie that's all about trans rights. So you know what? I'm gonna vote Rocco for that.
Iconic. As we go back to the top here, folks, as these Nigel Thornberry versus Mr. Krabs, this is a clean sweep for Mr. Krabs for me.
Yeah. As much as I love my horribly stereotypical meow man, Mr. Krabs is like
money.
The man is mint. He's money.
I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this.
He's an educated gentleman.
Razor, Mr. Krabs.
Why?
Where else? Like Nigel Thornberry didn't teach me the 13 words a sailor should never use.
Yeah. Lad, how am I supposed to control myself when you're off with someone else's money?
Lad, I can't help it when you're loose with someone else's money.
So good. So Mr. Krabs,
Mrs. Puff needs a sun hat.
Are we going to the park soon? All right. So congratulations, Mr. Krabs. Going to move on to the Sweet 16. Next matchup. That's going to be Prince Zuko versus Patrick Star.
Oh fuck!
Hard matchup. Really hard matchup.
Not hard for me. It isn't.
I'm voting for Prince Zuko.
Oh well, then I guess there's no point in having the discussion.
It's like I get it. It's just like
you can bring up your points.
Yeah, you can make.
I don't think I wasn't thinking about it too much. I mean, Patrick has made shit.
Fantastic character.
He's seated above Zuko, actually.
Yeah. Is he?
He is. He's fourth, and Zuko's fifth.
Easily could have won any other bracket. But
yeah.
You know what? I'm actually gonna. It doesn't matter since Patrick lost already, but I'm gonna vote for Patrick for the sole reason that Zuko at least does not have the benefit of comedic relief, and Patrick has that. But there have also been like some semi-serious episodes about Patrick where he does feel bad about his own stupidity, and like.
There were some definitely comedic moments about Zuko, but
that's rough. That's rough, buddy.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that Patrick is confirmed and Zuko isn't yet. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Nonetheless, though,
Zuko moves on, I guess.
Congratulations to Prince Zuko. Again, buzzsaw matchup for Patrick Star. Next up, Angelica Pickles versus Zim. This is hard.
I'm gonna vote for Zim.
It's hard.
I hated Angelica so much as a kid, and I know you're supposed to, but
She's
still
hilarious. But I think Zim's funnier. So. Honestly, like the appeal of Rugrats is kind of weird. It's like almost like it's like you're on acid.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Especially with the animation of the new show.
I haven't seen the new show at all, so I can't comment to that. But,
it's weird.
Angelica was definitely part of that kind of like trip.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know. I think Zim's funny.
I also think that Zim is funnier. Like, again, you're supposed to hate Angelica, but also like Invader Zim just like hit me at like such a right time in my life, and like the show is just so funny. Like, I'll have a big old cup of poop, please. Like,
yeah, I mean, Zim's stuff is still in Hot Topic today. He's got that cult following to him, and Angelica doesn't. Angelica's iconic in her own right, but not necessarily in the same way. I feel like when people think of Rugrats, she's not the first character that people think of, at the very least. And God, she was such a bitch.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I mean, you talk about Chucky being a snitch, but he was snitching on a snitch. So you know what I mean? It's like there's a certain meta to that I feel like Angelica was at the bottom of, where Zim just has such a cult following nowadays, and he's got his own iconic quotes. Like, I didn't watch too much of that show, But Kyle just straight up said, "I'll have a big old cup of poop, please," and I just laughed for like a minute. So Zim gets it.
Yeah, that was not that hard. Next matchup: Face versus Rocco. I love Rocco's Minor Life so much. Like
I'm going for Rocco.
Yeah, Face
is
won over.
Awesome, but like it's kind of like a not.
Did Face ever work in a sex hotline? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Up next, kids, the hot, sexy singles in your area.
Ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby.
Look, man, Face moved on because he was against somebody who literally should not even been in this bracket. Like, no disrespect to Charlotte Pickles, but like,
I'm disrespecting her, bro.
That's fucked up. She's an independent woman.
Bro.
No, she's not. All she does is talk to Jonathan.
And she's like constantly on the phone, like on her business meetings.
Yeah, she's a terrible mom.
Facts. I mean, she's at least teaching Angelica to be independent, but that's because she's forcing her to by never fucking being there. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah, this one, that one we weren't talking about her anyway. All I'm saying is that's the only reason Face moved on.
Yeah.
He's literally not even from a show.
Face had a bye.
So
pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. So next matchup, as we move back up top, is going to be Mr. Krabs against Prince Zuko. This sucks. This is hard.
No, it's not for me. I'll give Zuko this one.
I'm still giving it to Zuko.
Yes, yeah. It's as much as I enjoy Mr. Krabs as a character, like we've said it. Zuko as a character is like.
I honestly might like Mr. Krabs more than Patrick.
That's
heresy,
I can see that. I can see that, and. For this matchup, I'll just briefly say, like, Zuko was an antagonist, quote-unquote, because he was a victim of his circumstance and abuse from his, from his father and from his bloodline and from his parents and shit. Mr. Krabs is just a greedy piece of shit. Like, there are episodes where you legitimately hate Mr. Krabs because he just wants money and builds a second Krusty Krab and pays his, employees in literal fucking pennies. Mr. Krabs is the reason that our generation has become radicalized, and for that, I vote for Zuko.
All right. That's,
radicalized.
I dig it. That's smart. All right, next matchup is going to be Zim versus Rocco.
Ooh.
Oh, this one's kind of hard, actually.
Yeah, this one is hard. Again, two very different shows.
Zim's and Nick All-Stars, just saying.
Very, yeah. Well, it's for now.
For now.
It's so hard, man. It's like, I think I'm still voting for Rocco. I think I don't know, for some reason, both these shows make me laugh, but like Rocco's Modern Life was just like always on in my house, like growing up. Like even like Invader Zim was like I watched it, but like I always wanted to watch Rocco's Modern Life. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go with Rocco.
I think I might be voting Rocco too.
His life wasn't even modern anymore, and then they made it modern again with a reboot.
It's very true.
Both of them had a movie.
Yeah.
A comeback movie.
Yeah, definitely please go watch both of those movies. They're absolutely fantastic. Like they're so very funny and very snappy. Like there's definitely a market for these shows nowadays. As that brings us all the way to our Elite 8 matchup. The winner of this moves on to the Final Four. Then 2-seed Rocco going up against the 5-seed Prince Zuko. I'm still voting for Prince Zuko.
I'm gonna give you a big fat same.
Sweep.
Yeah, again, like Zuko had a pretty soft bracket, but even if he didn't, I still think he'd like come out on top here. Like, if your hardest match, he beat 2 SpongeBob characters. Like,
yeah,
back to back.
Yeah, that was kind of gnarly. Like Zuko, like it speaks for just how good of a character Zuko is. So that's a clean sweep for the Bluffington region as the 5-seed advances all the way to the Final Four. So congratulations to Prince Zuko. As now,
can we quickly talk about
this all so far?
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Yeah, can we quickly talk about the fact that it took the first bracket, the Bikini Bottom bracket, took us an hour and 11 minutes, and this one took 13.
Yeah, there's definitely some lopsided. I feel like the rest of these are probably going to go pretty fast.
Yeah. Like, I was worried for a second. I'm like, I'll sit here the whole time. I'll do it. Like, I'll vibe with my boys. Like, we'll make great content together. But I was like, shit, the first bracket took, like, over an hour. Like, this is going to be a long one. And then it kind of just wasn't.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
For the most part, this is gonna. I feel like the rest of it is gonna like fly by pretty quickly. Like some of these matchups are pretty lopsided.
Yeah.
As we migrate south, folks, to the Reptar Land region, again, we have 16 more competitors. Starting at the top of our list here, number 1 seed, Baby's got to do what a baby's got to do. Tommy Pickles going up against Zebo the Clown from, I believe, an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, this motherfucker's creepy. I'm voting for Tommy.
Yeah.
Dude. Zero the Clown is like an episode of Rugrats.
You're right.
Wow.
So Tommy Pickles mops the floor with this guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tommy's a great character.
Tommy's
Baby's
great.
got to do what a baby's got to do.
Tommy's great, and that show was like, bro, that show was freaky. People don't talk about how freaky that show was.
Yeah, that show got weird real fast. So that's a quick one. So congrats to Tommy Pickles.
Not getting upsetted.
Yeah, no, yeah. Good job.
Did not get grabbed 3 times.
Yeah. Deserving of a number 1 seed. Like 1,000,000%, I think so. He's one of the most iconic.
We'll see how
I
it
think
goes.
so. 8-9 matchup. This one might be kind of hard. Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold going up against Moira Cork from she's a referee from Nickelodeon Guts. I like Helga though. I think Helga's a great character.
Helga, I appreciate Helga. All right, now hear me out. Hear me out here, guys. I appreciate Helga because she is literal proof that despite it not being nearly as common, women can in fact be simps.
This is true.
It happens.
In her house,
trust
man.
me. Yeah, that was like, oh god, like put her in the zoo, bro. That's a goddamn chimpanzee.
Oh, brother, that's a good one.
Yeah, my vote's easy.
Hey Arnold, definitely like very, very like it goes there show.
Yeah.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Beta.
Like, is this the first appearance of a Hey Arnold character in the bracket so far?
Yep.
Wow, it is. I didn't even realize that.
Listen, Hey Arnold's a fantastic show. Like you said, it's definitely not a show that's afraid to go there. Like, it deals with like homelessness and like substance abuse and giving your daughter away in war. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this show got fucking dark.
Arnold's the number 1 seed in the Hillwood bracket.
Yeah,
he might win that.
And I agree. We'll get there when we get there. But number 5, Helga's moving on for me. I don't know if
Same.
Yeah. This I don't know who either. Okay, I know who one of these characters is. I don't know who the other one is. The 5 and 12 matchup. Alex Mack from the show Alex Mack going up against Loopy. Who is?
She's a little cartoon little.
That's the girl from Kablam. Okay, I remember Loopy. I never seen Alex Mack. I watched Kablam, so I'll go with Loopy.
Dude, Loopy, that show's kind of weird too.
Yeah, we're Loopy. Now it's all coming back to me. Yeah, that's a good choice. Alex Mack was like one of those like weird live action shows.
Oh.
Did you good?
No, I thought we were zooming through this one, and I was just looking at the next matchup, and we'll get to that when we get to it.
Oh no!
Yeah. You see, you reacted to it the same way I did, right?
Yeah, the 4 and 13 matchup, Buzzsaw in the first round. Stimpy Cat from Ren and Stimpy going up against Gurr from Invader Zim.
That's hard.
Honestly,
bro. We picked Loopy, right?
Yeah, we picked Loopy.
Okay, just
honestly,
we're Loopy.
It's not hard for me.
No,
for me, it's Gurr.
As much as I like Ren and Stimpy, like Stimpy's very funny, but I also feel like that Ren's like I remember much more of what Ren does in that show than what Stimpy does. But like Gurr is like mega iconic, like the Doom song, the pig, like.
Yeah, you know what? I'm picking Gurr for the sole reason that Ren and Stimpy was not only made by a pedophile,
literally,
literally a pedophile, but also became the main character of a porn show on FX. later on as the reboot of Ren and Stimpy came around.
I forgot about that.
What?
So
there's a reboot of Ren and Stimpy that like ran on like FX for like it was called like the Ren and Stimpy like adult hour or something. They showed like boobs in the show and stuff.
Literally like titties everywhere in that show.
Wasn't that in the original too?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember.
Not in the same fashion.
Okay.
As we move on here, I'm voting for Gur.
Yeah. Same boat. Definitely Gur. Stimpy, I'm sorry. You got done dirty. Not in this bracket. I'm talking about just in life.
Gur is literally the dogs that's like chewing on Stimpy's butt.
You're not wrong.
Let's look at some more buttocks up here, fellas.
Yeah.
It's like the only line I remember.
Yeah. the next matchup, the 6 and 11 seed, Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple, a criminally low 11 seed for Katara.
Okay, so here's my suggestion, right?
Okay.
Just because I feel like my man was robbed. My man was robbed. All right. So earlier you said that we could have some substitutions.
Yeah.
I am putting up a vote. So to replace Katara with Sokka, can we please just do that? Like,
yeah, I can fuck with that.
Yo, Katara over Sokka? I can't live in that world.
Yeah,
or even Toph. I'll you know.
Well, it's because the other Avatar rep in the bracket is Korra, obviously.
No, there's Iroh.
Oh, then I guess
they're both in it.
So it's Iroh, Korra, Zuko, and
I'm so sorry.
Katara? Yeah, whatever. I don't care. All right. Yeah, we can replace. I'm down to replace Katara with.
If you want to replace like a female character with a female character, I'm down to go with Toph. You know,
I think there's still like plenty of like. Wouldn't
Katara beat Olmec anyway?
Yeah, but personally, Olmec's pretty iconic. But
voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah,
but
I also agree though. I don't know.
I'm just upset.
Yeah, I'm down to that. Let's say for context sake, it is Sokka in the place of his sister, and he still beats Olmec though. So
I think it takes away a little bit of the integrity of the bracket, but I seem to be outnumbered here.
The seating being messed up.
Yeah, this is gonna get weird. But this guy showing up late with his carpool gets seated last. It happens. So good stuff on Sokka / Katara / Sokka.
Water Tribe style.
Well, yeah, this is very true. Keenan Rockmore with the 3 seed in this region. Interesting. Going up against the Temple Guards from Legends of the Hidden Temple. This is an easy win for Keenan for me personally.
Same.
The Temple Guards are like MacGuffins that like scare kids for a living. Like that's it. Like
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like Keenan like works at he's the guy at Rigby's. Like that's cool.
Yo, scaring kids though, it's pretty hype. Let's move on.
Could have moved right past that one.
If scaring kids is so hype, why is Zebo the clown out of the bracket already?
Yo, Tommy Pickle scared me too. I'm not too.
Bro, where he keep that wrench though? A screwdriver, whatever. I messed it up. I'm a fake
his
fan.
stew driver.
7-10
matchup. Criminally low seed for Timmy Turner here is Timmy Turner versus Amanda Bynes.
Which is unfortunate because the Amanda Show was kind of good.
The Amanda Show I think was like at my preferred sketch comedy show on Nickelodeon.
This is hard.
Amanda Show.
This is hard because Amanda, Timmy Turner didn't become, he didn't, start doing crack. But he also became Drake Bell.
Ooh.
Which is low-key worse.
Okay. This is the decider right here. In the Amanda Show, Drake is constantly being killed.
Yeah. That's
literally there's an episode where there's a button and it says "kill Drake." He's like, "What happens when I press this?" You guys remember that?
Yes, I do. I do remember that now. And also, the Amanda Show had Timmy's
giant dancing lobsters.
Yeah,
bring in the dancing lobsters.
It had that and Moody's Point. Moody's Point was very funny.
Moody's Point. But Timmy Turner is also voiced by Tara Strong, who's
Ooh,
like
yeah.
one of the sexiest fucking women.
Could you say you could also like
ever
run into
exist.
that same scenario with Timmy Turner as you do with Jimmy Neutron, where like a lot like Timmy gets kind of outclassed by the other characters in his own show?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
I mean, as far
His
as power
dad,
goes,
Mr.
yeah.
Crocker.
Cosmo and Wanda. So.
Yeah.
Timmy!
For
I'm both respecting your privacy by knocking and asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway.
Phone
It's
for
funny
you.
how good like the Nickelodeon parents are.
Yeah, right. Except Charlotte, but yeah,
Yeah.
I totally okay.
But we're talking just Amanda Bynes here. We're not talking about the whole show.
Well,
that
it's
is
Amanda Bynes from the Amanda Show.
Yeah. So you have to take everything with that. I'm gonna take Amanda Bynes.
What was her name when she was a judge?
Judge Judy.
She was Judge Judy still.
Was it or Judge Trudy? I think that's what it was. It was some parody of that.
I have to find
Block
out for sure.
blister.
Yeah, that was.
Judge Trudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's hard.
Stand up, sit down.
The girls' room.
Yeah. I like eggs.
Okay, you guys are making me laugh just with these references, but we do the same thing for Fairly Odd Parents all the time.
Yeah, it's true. But I just
What did you do to jump?
I think Timmy is like.
See,
Timmy's definitely good. Timmy's definitely good. But
he does become Drake Bell.
there's the.
But
And Drake
the Amanda
dies on
Show
the Amanda
had Drake
Show.
Bell.
He dies on that show constantly.
Oh, can we get an F?
Dude, there's a Spyro song as the ending theme song for the Amanda Show.
Amanda.
Written by Stuart Copeland. How hype is that?
I think I'm gonna stick with Amanda Bynes here.
I'm gonna. I want to say that. I mean, I don't want any of us to abstain from any of the votes, but I'm gonna say that I quote unquote abstain. But because solely for the fact that it doesn't matter because Hungry seems to be leaning towards the Amanda Show.
Nah, I think I'm voting for I'm rooting for Amanda Bynes here.
Yeah. Okay. This one is an insanely hard choice for me, man.
Riz, if you're out there, all I'm saying is the Spyro song.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. Okay, so I guess we're done.
I'm gonna formally vote for Timmy Turner, but it's a slight dub above Amanda Bynes. Very, very slight. Like
internet.
This is if like I had to pick one, which I do here. This is the whole point of this. I'm gonna vote for Timmy Turner, just like as a little consolation vote.
All right, as we get to our 2 and 15 matchup. Again, very strange seeding here. The 2 seed, Gerald Johansson from Hey Arnold, going up against Carly Shay from iCarly. Have you guys like seen iCarly? Like, do you guys?
All right, I'm gonna be honest.
Like her and Freddie are like sitting on a bed, and like this girl that no one's seen before asked to have a threesome with them. It's like it's trying really hard to be like adulty.
I've seen. Okay.
What?
All right, let's
look it up. This is an actual scene from the new iCarly.
Let me talk. As someone who's been actively watching the iCarly reboot, I can explain. So, iCarly again is a show that ran from iCarly is a show that ran from 2004 to like 2012. They rebooted it this past summer with like a much more adult spin on it, and there is a subplot in this episode where where Carly and Freddie go on vacation together. They accidentally end up buying like a lover's like a lover's room for 2, and there's a girl that like shows up that's supposed to be one of Carly's friends, and she's like, "Oh, you've been acting all weird because she's been like loving up on Freddie all weekend." She's like, "You guys want to have a threesome with me?" And they're like, "What?" Like, there's adult jokes in the show. They drink, they curse, like. It's very like much like, a sitcom you'd see on like cable television.
Yo, I'll be honest. I know this is like heresy or whatever. I never got into iCarly.
I don't think it's like heresy because I don't really think it was your demographic.
Yeah, like, no, this is the show where like Dan Schneider's pedophilia like started to really kick in. Like all like the feet jokes came in, putting like the faces on there. Dan, hold her tighter. She's a fighter, Schneider. Like it's disgusting when you watch the show in that sense. It's like when you know what like the guy actually did and you watch iCarly back, you're like, okay, I can see it. And when you think about how much he harassed like Janet McCurdy specifically,
Yeah.
on that show, it's nasty, man. So
That being said, though, Carly Shay as a character is great. I enjoy Miranda Cosgrove as like a person. Gerald though, like
Gerald's hype. I will
Gerald
not
is hype.
hear any Gerald slander in this podcast.
This one's pretty.
I apologize for that Dan Schneider joke, by the way. I wasn't trying to be edgy. I was trying to talk about why I'm not voting for Carly.
That's fine. We'll move past it.
That's I feel like unrelated to like Carly Shay's character, especially now.
Well, so was Drake Bell to Timmy Turner.
No, because he's actual Drake Bell.
I mean, I guess.
We're not talking about Dan Schneider. We're talking about Carly Shay. Timmy Turner
but
is
the humor in that show is still directly correlated to his decision making, though.
But there's also like a new Carly Shay, I guess you would say.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
yeah, and it's low key even more sexual than it was before.
She's an adult.
But it's like in a tasteful adult way. They're in their
is an adult.
mid-20s in that show, so it's hard. I get it. This is definitely a hard matchup, though. I don't know. I really like the iCarly.
My man Freddie was literally just like, oh, well, let's hear her out.
Scumbags aside, I'm voting for Gerald. I never got into iCarly. And I was not interested in the reboot. I'm not going to watch it. It's not my thing.
I like the reboot. I'll vote for Carly.
I'm voting for Gerald. If Gerald loses this early, I'm going to freak.
I'm going to be real with you.
Oh, my God. I'm going to freak out.
The thing is, it's not really completely objective. It's just because Hey Arnold is actually very before my time. I don't remember that show too well.
That's all right. I'll blame Kyle.
That being said, I still think the humor in the original iCarly, at least, is very heavily influenced by Dan Schneider's pedophilia. Like, and we didn't even realize it until that Twitter thread came around. And frankly, I low-key can't look at that show the same way that I did as a child. Not completely, not the same way. Like, it's when the tide sort of started to shift and everything started to get worse. But as much as I loved iCarly, as much as I loved that show when I was a kid, I definitely can acknowledge that Gerald was a much more impactful one for a lot of reasons. So to avoid, so we can continue the bracket by avoiding Hungry having a heart attack right now, and also to put pedophiles to, death rest where they belong, I'm gonna vote for Gerald.
Let's go.
Yeah, now I can sleep at night. I'll be fine.
Kyle, you're still on watch.
Whatever, man. Moving on.
Yeah, Kyle just basically said he supports some very sus people, just saying.
I like the reboot. Thank you. Anyway.
Dude, Freddie was straight up just like, oh, well, let's hear her out.
Yeah.
Let's hear her out first.
They're consenting adults. It's funny.
Yeah, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Next matchup. Tommy Pickles versus Helga Pataki.
This is hard. This is actually hard for me.
This is very hard. Tommy is literally just a baby. Like
you're a baby. What do you even do?
Oh man, what do you even do? It's like, think about facts. Think about Tommy in any real world scenarios. The show is Rugrats. It's from like the point of like a little kid's perspective. He's one. Independence means he dies.
Tommy tried to kill his own brother in the woods. Like,
that's facts. He tried to fucking kill Dill before he even turned. Oh fuck, Tommy, dude. Let's go, Helga. Helga was a simp and she was a psychopath and a sociopath.
Helga had a hard life, man. People
that's
don't
true.
know
yeah. Like there's a reason for why she is. I mean, Tommy's only one, so there's not much life for him to experience. So there's not really too many reasons why he's the way he is.
Let's put it this way: the time skip Helga way more hype than time skip Ty Pickles.
This is true.
Helga's also in Nick All-Stars. Tommy isn't.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie's great. Okay, so I'm voting for Helga.
Yeah, I'm voting for Helga.
Yeah, me too.
Next matchup, Loopy against Gur. Free.
Gur. Yeah.
All day for Gur.
I'm Loopy. I'm Loopy. We're Loopy. We're Loopy.
Oh, what a time to be alive. Yeah, Gur wins this free. I'm so. Sokka versus Keenan Rockmore.
Sokka/Katara.
Katara.
Water Tribe siblings.
Water Tribe style.
Yeah,
versus who? The
Keenan Rockmore.
Oh, yeah, Katara and Sokka.
Water Tribe.
I gotta pay.
Did we vote for Amanda Bynes? Yeah.
We did. We did decide on Amanda.
Amanda Bynes versus Gerald. I fuck with Gerald here.
I'm going with Gerald. Amanda Bynes great in the Amanda show, but Gerald is my man's. So
he does the thing with his thumb. That's cool.
Yeah. His hair makes no sense.
Not even the slightest bit.
His head makes no sense, really. But
what he got in there.
All right, so good. All right, Gerald moves on there. Moving on, Helga versus Gur.
I'm actually gonna vote for Helga here. This might be heresy. Yeah, dude. Gur's funny, but like, he's not.
Helga's got heart.
Helga's got heart, man. She's got a hard life.
Yeah, her mom's an alcoholic. Her dad sells beepers. Like,
he's kind of a jerk.
Means perfect older sister. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. Being in the shadow of your older sibling.
I think I know who I'm voting for. David, how do you feel here? Okay, yeah, I get. I was also voting for Helga. So so Helga beats Gur, moves on to the that's the Elite 8. So next matchup is Katara/Sokka going up against Gerald.
This is where my man's falls. Because my other
Can we get an F in the chat?
Because this is where my other man's comes in. Sokka. Dude.
Does he sock it to him?
That is a Sokka joke.
Oh God, that hit so good. Yeah, I'm voting for Sokka here. Like, Gerald's great, but Sokka is like he's the best.
Bye.
So Heron are making a deep run in this bracket on this side of the bracket. To advance to the final four, the 8 seed Helga going up against the 11 seed Sokka.
Ooh, a double homicide.
What do we got? We got Helga, Sokka.
Double homicide for the Water Tribe.
All right, listen.
Boomerang comes back.
They've all had insanely hard lives, but my man Sokka, his girl became the moon.
That's rough, buddy. Also, his mom died.
Yeah,
that's true.
And he's not a simp. He didn't become a simp. He's, if anything, it made him more. He's like he's confident in himself, takes the responsibilities of an older brother. Helga's insanely strong too, but like her fucking like mental problems and like her like chimpanzee issues stems from like, you know, her stems from her rough upbringing. Sokka takes his rough upbringing, amplifies it by 10, especially considering the fact that he's the only one in the group who's not a fucking bender, and he never lets that shit stop him.
Nope.
It's free. It's free, Sokka.
Yeah, that I wholeheartedly agree. So that is going to be 2 Avatar characters in the final 4.
Almost 3.
Almost
3. Fuck, that's right. Aang was like really close.
Almost 3, and he lost to SpongeBob.
Like,
like that's nothing to scoff at. It's definitely a 3-0.
Shout out to Hey Arnold, deep run.
Yeah, great show. But it has the potential to make a run here, maybe. But we'll see. As we move into
I have successfully rigged this bracket.
It's ridiculously close. How this was almost all freaking.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have voted for Katara over.
I wouldn't have by herself. I wouldn't have.
Oh, I would have still voted for Katara easily.
Katara's great, but she's also not great.
All right, folks. As we move into the last.
All right, can Helga bend?
She just punches people, bro. She knocks people out.
It's true.
All right,
Like,
I mean,
twice her size. She's
and I gotta admit, Katara also did make fun of a blind girl.
True.
She was like, "Oh, this sky is so beautiful. I wish you could see it." I was like, "Fuck." When I first saw that, I'm like, "That was fucked right up."
Every time we talk about flaws, Sokka is sexist. So
Yeah, that's also very true.
also part of his upbringing, not his fault, really. Whatever.
He also didn't. He also did not have a mom to teach him to not hate women.
Yeah. Well, let's just move on.
As we move on to the final region here, the Hillwood region, and anchored by its number 1 seed, Arnold Shortman. Because if you haven't watched the movie, that's what Arnold's last name is.
Yeah. And then,
Going up against Ginger Fowley from Asshole by Ginger.
People thought it was just a nickname, but
Nah, it's his last name.
yeah.
The Jungle movie was great. I highly recommend everyone watch it. It was a lot of. I enjoyed that very much. Yeah, I don't know if you guys were. I don't know if you guys have seen Asshole by Ginger. It was a fine show, but Arnold's great.
You know what I just noticed? Dora's on the picture for the character bracket, and she's not in the bracket.
Yeah, she
look
is.
closer.
Where? Oh,
She's in this region.
I swear to God, I didn't see it.
yourself.
All right. I'll shake my own hand for that one.
Yeah, there
Sorry.
we go. Redeem that one.
I could've sworn
yeah,
I didn't see that shit. That's
I think
weird.
this is a pretty clear win for Arnold here for me.
It's kind of sweet.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Asshole by Ginger, honestly, it was just all right.
I just remember that girl that dressed up like a seal and sang a song about
I
it.
just hated everybody's lips.
Look, man, I literally turn that show off every time SpongeBob switched to that. All right, so Arnold Shortman.
Yeah. My favorite animation in Hey Arnold is whenever he opens the door and all those animals run out of the house. For some reason, it always made me laugh.
Yeah.
All right, as we move on, the 8 and 9 matchup here. Pierre Escargot, the Kenan Thompson vehicle from All That, going up against Blue from Blue's Clues.
Oh, looking at these pictures is opening up some recesses in my brain. Oh, man, this is so familiar to me. But I don't remember it.
As much as I like the Pierre Escargot bit, Blue's great.
Yeah, I'm going Blue.
Look, all I'm saying is there's a whole theme park near where I work, and that motherfucker is everywhere. So
Yeah.
they literally have the chair from Blue's Clues that you can sit in.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love I mess with that.
And also a giant oppo you can ride on. Shout out to Riz.
Yo, Appa should have been on this list.
Yeah.
Facts. Oppo would win the whole
Yeah.
fucking bracket. Fuck all these other pieces of poop.
All right.
All right, so Blue moving on there. The 5 and 12 matchup. Blender.
When he fights Momo, I am so sick of this little... I am so sick of you picking on me all the time. Or whatever it is he says. I don't remember. Riz was so funny. He was just like, okay, Google. Beep, beep. How do I cosplay Samurai Appa?
Oh my god.
I would kill to see that.
The 5 and 12 matchup. Patty Mayonnaise.
Should be reversed.
Yeah, I agree. Patty
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, the 5 seed, going up against Uncle Iroh, the 12 seed.
Shout outs to
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, man. I'm so sorry, Uncle Iroh.
There was an episode of Doug where Patty Mayonnaise is anorexic.
Yeah. Oh my god. I forgot about that until just now. That was a recess of my brain that I definitely hid. Yeah, there was a great song about Patty Mayonnaise and Doug, but that's about the extent of what I remember. I also remember she got a haircut in the Disney version of the show, so that was weird. Uncle Iroh's iconic. Let's just leave it at that.
Uncle, you were right. He turned into a pickle. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Stop.
You were right, Uncle.
So it's clean sweep for Uncle Iroh here. Yeah, I think we're all lockstep there.
Fuck you, Hungry. That was funny.
There's a time and a place for everything.
That time. What? Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm not even gonna fight with you on that. Let's just move on.
The 4 and 13 matchup. Dora the Explorer, whose last name is Marquez, going up against
Cursed.
Sheen Estevez.
Forbidden knowledge.
Okay.
Bro. Yo.
Okay.
How come they putting up these packs next to each other, bro?
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Yo, that's systemic. That's
I'm kind
fucking
of offended by
systemic
this
right
list.
there.
Ranker, I'm gonna hit you up, or whatever, Ringer.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, this is kind of fucked up. I'm voting for Sheen personally.
I'm also voting for Sheen.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad we didn't even have to have this discussion. I was gonna say, let's please not let Planet Sheen affect him this early in the bracket at the very least, because that man was low-key one of the carries of Jimmy Neutron. He was perfect as the comedic relief for what he is. Yeah, Hugh is the one who should have gotten the spinoff, and I kind of wish he was on this list.
It kind of be hard to have a Hugh spinoff without Jimmy.
Yeah.
Make it like a prequel.
I don't know, maybe. But like the voice actor is like the big part of why that's so good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Don't tell you
Sheen
about it.
easily. Sheen has made me laugh more times than I can fucking count.
Sorry, Dora. Don't give a shit.
like Ultra
Yo,
Lord.
I have a lot of fun
now
memories
I'm
of watching
ultra
Dora
bored.
when I was like in the doctor's office.
Yeah, that's
They were
true.
just playing it because
Wasn't it like Glenn the other day who said that Dora is
that was Danny.
that was
that was
Danny?
me.
Yeah, was that you? Oh, that
Yeah,
was
Dora-
you, Kyle.
yeah,
that was
yeah.
you.
Dora is an AI. She exists within a
Was that
computer.
Danny?
She's not a real person.
Dude,
No, that
oh
was
my
me.
god, bro! Every episode of Dora the Explorer is personalized.
Stop.
None of you are gonna get that reference.
I feel like some people are. There's video game people around here.
Yeah, probably. But are they creepy pasta people? Not a creepy pasta, but yeah, whatever. That's
It's just a
completely
meme
irrelevant.
at this point. So.
It is, yeah.
Speaking of pasta, the 6 and 11 matchup: Squidward Tortellini versus Artie from Pete and Pete. I don't even fuck Artie. Who's
yeah.
Artie? Sweep, clean sweep.
We have
Squidward
the best
tadpoles.
Mexican food in my fancy sun towers.
Clean sweep.
Yeah,
Squidward
yeah,
We serve
tadpoles.
food here, sir.
definitely giving this one to Tortellini. Squidward tentacles, come on.
Yeah, Squidward's great. Squidward's like
The end of Koopa's old highlight reel. Come on.
spongy. All right, yeah, that was an easy one.
Arguably
This one,
the best character in SpongeBob.
it's hard. It's a hard. It's close.
definitely one
very
and two.
close.
At least in my opinion.
This next matchup, I have no horse in. Well, kind of. Clarissa Darling, the 3 seed. From
Number 3
Clarissa
seed.
Explains It All. Going up against Ickis from Real Monsters.
I've been posting that picture from Chris Explains It All for like a month now.
You have been. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Melissa? Is that Melissa Joan Hart?
Joan Hart, yeah.
Yes, it is. Melissa
Oh
Joan Hart.
wow!
Yeah, that was her first role.
I was about to say she looks so young. I don't even remember this. This is like
Yeah,
pre.
this
This
show-
is like pre Sabrina.
It is.
It is pre-Sabrina.
This show,
Hopes and
this show was
despair.
definitely before my
All
time.
right,
but
so
I've
I'm gonna
watched
post that picture on Twitter right now. And none of you guys are gonna be like, "Why is he posting this?" You're gonna come back and watch that, and then be like, "Oh, that."
Yeah, you guys are gonna have
Or you're
all
not
the
gonna care,
context
which
you
is
need.
possible too.
It's also very possible. Yeah, I Clarissa was actually like before my time as well, but like I've watched the show in reruns like since then. It was funny. Like I've watched a few episodes here and then. It's definitely very 90s. My favorite character is a guy that like uses a ladder to get into Clarissa's room and then he like falls off of it. It's funny. And Melissa Joan Hart's a good actress, and I don't give a shit about Ickis. So
Yeah,
I'll vote for Clarissa, but it's gonna be again. It's
It's a
doesn't really matter
battle of. It's like it was an easy matchup for her, but not to say that she was.
This bottom part of the bracket is gonna suck. As we like, I'm not even gonna entertain the 7 and 10 matchup. Bobby Budnick from Salute Your Shorts, I think, going up against Avatar Korra. Come on,
Cora's gonna win this easy.
what are we doing? David, you like Korra?
Sure.
We vibe with it.
I don't love Cora.
I'm not. I don't love her, but I like her enough. I think she's cool. In this matchup specifically, I think she's fine.
She's definitely winning this.
Yeah. Now this matchup, might be the hardest one. One of the hardest ones. The 2 and 15 seed, Ren from Ren and Stimpy, going up against Josh Nichols from Drake and Josh.
I'm just saying. Might be time for an upset here, boys.
I agree.
I'm going there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like Ren becomes like a sex-obsessed maniac in this porn show on FX that was created by a literal fucking pedophile. Josh Nichols made me laugh every time he was on the screen.
Drake, where's the door?
Oh my god!
He has so many iconic lines. I ain't calling you a truther.
Look, man. I'm just gonna go try. Look, man. Maybe I can fix the car. You can't fix a sandwich.
I do not control the speed at which lobsters die.
All right, stop. We got it. Josh wins.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh man!
I just thought of what was another funny one.
Bro, where'd you get a bus? Go to bus.org.
It's like, this is the worst day of my life. It's like, why? Because I hit Oprah? No, I'm a little sweaty. Yes, of course, because I hit Oprah. Yeah, Josh.
She hit me in the face with a meat patty.
Just saying, Josh could go on a run here.
Yeah.
He might, yeah.
This is so. As we move back up top, 1 versus 9, Arnold versus Blue. I'm still riding with Arnold here.
Yep, short man wins out. Don't hit me, I'll hit me.
Yep. Take it from me. Like Arnold fought muggers on the bus. Like he's hardcore. Blue
Go ahead.
Leaves. Blue gets tracks in the house. Like that's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, Blue is kind of problematic in that sense. Every time we open the door, he's got another mystery to solve and tracks to clean up and shit. I mean, he doesn't poop. But whatever. Clearly, Blue is very problematic in some sense that he's had 3 caretakers over the last, 20 years. You know what I mean?
Also, Blue's a girl,
left,
by the way.
Joe left. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
I forget sometimes.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Joe left. Steve left, Joe left, and now we got
Josh.
what's his name?
I think
Josh. Who I think that actor is actually from Montclair. He's from went to Montclair State, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
You might not be wrong. My sister met him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's from around here. Yeah, I remember there were posters when I was at Montclair that they were talking about auditions for that show, and I thought about it for a minute, and then I'm like, there are actors here, aren't there? And I regretted it. I could have been on Blue's Clues, guys. So, moral of the story, don't be a Nintoonist. There you go. Because I clearly would have gotten the part. I mean, obviously. Morty.
All right, Arnold moving on here over Blue. Next matchup, Sheen versus Iroh. Oof.
This is not hard for me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sheen. I love Sheen. Uncle Iroh is not only one of the best Herald characters I've ever seen, he's just as fun, borderline as funny as Sheen. On top of that, that's not an easy thing to accomplish with a character that's also supposed to be serious at times. And Sheen is just the comic relief, spastic goofball and whatnot. Yeah, he's had some serious stuff every now and again, especially that half-hour special where he has to learn kung fu to go save Libby from the kid because he's the chosen one who can put his foot behind head. And
I forgot about that. Oh
yeah,
my God.
No, it's close. Sheen has had his arcs. I'm not gonna say this one's free. I disagree with Hungry in the fact that it's free. I know for you it's free. Apparently for the bracket it's not free either. Iroh's only 1 seed above Sheen. One little seed, and they're both really low. What the fuck? We got Patty Mayonnaise at 5 and Iroh and Sheen at 12 and 13.
Yeah,
this
you
list
tell
is
the person who made this is pretty old.
Yeah, honestly. Which is good. You got to include the old Nick stuff as well. There's no problem with that at all. But, yeah, I'll be objective. I got to give it to Iroh.
Yeah, same. This is pretty easy for me. Next matchup, Squidward versus Clarissa. Free for me also.
Yeah, also free.
Yeah,
this one easy.
Good old Dick Nose moves advances.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. This one, it might look tough on paper. Cora versus Josh. I'm riding with Josh here.
Oh, fuck. Ooh.
I am picking Josh.
Whoa!
Right. You know what? I mean, it'll be easy on my end, too, just because I know, a lot of people like Korra, not as much as Avatar, of course, but I'm going to be real. I actually haven't seen Korra yet. I haven't watched Legend of Korra yet.
I
so.
actually just watched Korra like very recently. Good, not great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Korra's
no
not even my
one says
favorite.
it's as good as Avatar. Like, no one.
Some people do, but they're
Really?
wrong.
Oh.
It gets a lot of flack.
Some people
like,
think Korra's even better, which again, they're wrong.
Kind of like makes
Yeah.
me think of like COD Zombies, like Mob of the Dead compared to Blood of the Dead. It's like, yeah, the latter's not like that good of a map, but it's only because it's compared to the original so much. It's still good. It's still a really, really good thing, but it gets a bad rap just because it's compared to its original thing, which is just so fucking godlike that
Korra
takes
is
it
a
away
pretty
from it.
good character, but she's not even like the best character in that show. Shout out to
Yeah.
my man Tenzin.
I agree. I'd ride with my Husky King Bolin, but also not a bad choice.
Another upset, bro. Josh Nichols over Korra.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Josh could go on a run here. It's possible. It's as we move back up top, Arnold going up against Uncle Iroh. Is this where the short man is bucked?
This is where the short man, I pun.
This is where the short man comes up short.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well played.
I kind of
Crushed
tripped
it.
on myself, but pun.
Yeah, this is an easy win dub for me for Iroh.
I want to say, like, what does short man have under his kilt? But it's only this L.
Like I said, Arnold does know karate, and like did like break a turtle out of a zoo. So I mean, he's got some life skills. But
Yeah, no,
Uncle
you know who
Iroh-
knows a little fucking more than karate?
Yeah.
Uncle Iroh went to jail. Like,
Dude, this is an unfortunate matchup for Arnold. Arnold could have made it to the top 4, maybe beyond, maybe, you know what I mean.
yeah.
But
I hate to see it.
unfortunately, he's gonna fall to Uncle Iroh.
So that is going to be the end of the road for.
Do you know
Arnold.
why they called me the Dragon of the West?
Wild shit.
Yeah, I don't see fucking Arnold doing that.
All right. So good stuff to Uncle Iroh. Moving on.
Bro, leaves from the vine. Sadder than
Yeah.
anything that Arnold has been through.
It's. Oh,
And
so
there's
good,
a lot
man.
of sad things in Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow Leaves of the Vine is still sadder.
All right, the premier matchup here, folks. Squidward Tentacles, Josh Nichols.
Oh, I'll go with Squidward, dude.
Oh man, this is so hard.
It's not that hard, but it's definitely like, damn, that sucks.
I have to like.
Squidward Josh Nichols is what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Squidward's got a lot of iconic lines in his own self, but so does Josh. They kind of like go tit for tat on that. Maybe slight Josh favor if we're talking about, the matchup. And this is really hard. Fuck, man. I mean, Squidward is sort of like not necessarily a herald in Sponge, but like he's like such like a character device for like a lot of the jokes that we have in that show. I'm having a hard time thinking of an
Squidward riding his
example.
bike and he fell off the cliff and exploded.
Yes.
Ow, ow, ee, ow, ow, ow.
Ow. Squidward, you and your big nose just definitely wouldn't fit in. What?
Okay, my gut hurts from you just saying that.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. Oh, this is...
Just to be a contrarian, I'm voting for Josh.
Oh boy.
You
This might happen.
motherfucker, you gonna put this on me?
Yeah, it's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, fuck you. You are never... I mean, you probably don't want to, because if you do, you'll probably get canceled just by, like, sheer association. But you're never coming back on my podcast again. For you, especially, I just will not censor Dennis.
Oh no.
Oh...
I mean, I'm not just voting for Josh for contrarian's sake. Like, I legitimately like it's like you said, it's tit for tat. It's just that Josh is just so funny. Like he's like the laugh like carry him.
Yeah. How much of Josh's humor came from Drake's misfortunes, though? Like, how many, like, because of the situations that Drake put him in. But you can argue the same fucking thing for Squidward because of SpongeBob. No, I'll be real. I would not laugh out loud to a lot of the jokes that... I mean, we're doing it right now because we're, like, voicing it with another, but if I watched it again, No, I can't even do that. Fuck! Oh, this one's so hard. Yeah. I really don't know, man. Honestly, I'm gonna... For sheer legacy factor and no association... For sheer legacy factor and no association with Dan Schneider, gonna give it up to Squidward. This is not the easy one. Like, this is a very, 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 very fucking slight victory here. But there's so much, like, there's so many iconic lines from Squidward as well that we could just, like, you know, voice off. And the character can be funny on his own. You know, Josh, like, sort of has to, like, play a little bit off. I mean, a lot of the times, Josh, you know, despite being, like, also knowing how to be the funny one, he was the straight man to Drake. But so was Squidward to SpongeBob. I can't decide. This one's really hard. I'm giving it to Squidward. I'm just going in. I'm going in.
Pay really close attention to the "I really wish I weren't here right now" button.
Oh, you motherfucker. Yeah, you know, I mean... But that kind of makes me feel like Squidward's, you know, like, whole attitude was, like, a little more of, like, a one-joke kind of character, though. Josh, however...
Nah, Squidward definitely had his moments. But it's
Hungry, I legitimately need your I legit need your help with this. Like, feed me more Squidward shit because I need it to, like, help solidify my decision.
I mean, if you think of some...
Google it, whatever, like, think of it, I don't care.
It's like trying to imagine him without his clothes on. Oh no, he's hot!
Oh no, he's hot.
Patrick, your glass is already full. One of my favorites is I'll give him a week. I'll give him 11 minutes.
Yeah, the runtime of the show.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'm giving it to Squidward because, you know, we all looked up to SpongeBob and his positive attitude as a child when none of us realized that Squidward was our true calling as adults. I'm giving it to Squidward fucking Tentacles. Thank you. That helped a lot. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, listen, I'm not there again. There's no losers here, except Josh. But we move on.
Josh loses out of sheer association with Dan Schneider and Drake Bell.
So that means the last.
Please,
another SpongeBob
character.
Hard
as you can. Don't hold back.
It's gonna be between a SpongeBob character.
Don't hold back.
All right, guys. As we get to the final
I love Krabby Patties.
Oh my god.
Okay, no, I'm more than confident in my decision now. Please continue, our gracious host, Koopa.
Thank you. We have made it. All right, we still got one more person to make it out of this region. It's either going to be another SpongeBob character or another Avatar character. Again,
boy.
Not surprised we got here. Squidward versus Uncle Iroh.
This is tough. This is the actual tough one.
Yeah, this is actually like impossibly hard.
Listen,
Uncle Iroh,
Squidward doesn't wear pants.
Uncle Iroh, soul. Squidward, I have no soul. He's like, oh wait.
Oh, please.
I have no soul.
Hey, Squidward, no. Iroh got ripped in prison. Squidward ate a bunch of Krabby Patties and they went straight to his thighs.
Squidward also has been like incredibly handsome and chiseled before too, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. How can you?
Yeah, when Iroh gets hit in the face, he doesn't get hot. Squidward gets hot when he gets fucking rocked.
How could you not relate to I order the food, you cook the food, the customer gets the food. We do that for 40 years and then we die.
This, not to like bias or like rig the bracket here, but this would make our top 4 even. It would be 2 SpongeBob reps versus 2 Avatar.
Yeah, this is true.
This is hard. Too bad that didn't kill me.
They couldn't make it.
Better
they
than
died.
any fucking like decision making. This is like the easiest convincing that anybody can do. Like better than any of these in-depth discussions we're having. As fun as they are, as intellectual as they are, all it takes is one of you fuckers to just completely cut that off with the "I really wish I weren't here right now" button, and then it's over. And then it's like, fuck, you got me because I'm laughing now. Oh, this is hard. Apples and oranges. These are two very different characters.
Yeah, this is really tough.
I think I feel confident in my vote here. I'm voting for Squidward Tentacles.
Oh boy.
It's so hard. Like you said, both
this
these
is
characters.
a hard battle, dude.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest matchup of the
This
night.
is where it gets fun. This is where I wouldn't know. I was really, really struggling with SpongeBob versus Aang. That's even though that was like fucking hour ago at this point. Like I was still really struggling with that one. But this one's very close as well.
Whatever. I'm having fun. It's wrong.
It's like, yeah, like this is the thing, right? We base this on its iconicism. We'll Google Squidward's iconic lines and we'll laugh here for like 5 minutes. We Google Iroh's and we're like,
damn,
I have so much more room to grow as a person.
Everyone wants an Uncle Iroh, bro. Everyone.
And no employee wants to be a Squidward.
Everyone is a Squidward.
This is true.
We all aspire to be Irohs when we're really just a bunch of Squidwards, you feel me? This is hard. They're iconic for completely different reasons. Completely.
I'm a winner. See my prize. You're a loser. Sits and cries.
I still just confident in my choice. I think it's Squidward here.
Squid, what's this?
The deed to my house.
Like Squidward has like I don't know, like Uncle Iroh has a tea shop. Like Squidward has a closet full of clocks. Like,
you want to talk about sheer strength? The man dragged a pirate ship using nothing but his fucking
torso.
Abs. Yeah, his torso.
As soon as I let go of his hand,
I'm gonna run for it.
Yeah.
Dude, we seem to be quoting Squidward a lot more than Iroh right now. Just saying. I know, Hungry, I know it's hard. But I think deep down you know what we gotta do.
Oh, my back.
Let me just
Take your time. Honestly, we're almost towards the end. Take your time.
Bro, failure
I can
is
wait.
the only opportunity to begin again.
Squidward gave up on life a long time ago.
Yeah.
Squidward also got attacked by a bear and survived. So, I mean...
Yeah, he also
hardcore.
didn't learn what to do over and over and over again after being attacked by that same bear.
I don't know. I think he just doesn't like you.
I'm begging you, Prince Zuko. Ah! Who are you, and what do you want?
Hungry,
Yo, my life
hungry.
changed right there.
Hungry. Would it help you if I decided? Or would it just hurt them
even
more?
if he loses, like it just like I still want to decide for myself.
I gotta sneeze. Hold up.
Yo.
Oh, here it comes.
Who am I? What do I want?
It's you, Delta variant. All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There we go. I wear a mask at my job now. They're making me. I rub it in everyone's faces. I have a big nose like Squidward. I can't wear the thing. God.
You'll be
At
fine.
least we have Kyle solidifying this. I feel like
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
good.
we have his vote
I'm confident.
I could end it right now. All right, I take it back. This might be the hardest decision of the night. Let's talk logistical here. We've been quoting Squidward a lot more right now. Might just be because we're trying to make each other laugh.
It's also just as easy, you know.
Listen, I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna end it. Squidward has taught us some very valuable lessons that Iroh has taught us as well. Iroh, it's more clear. It's like more not more reserved. It's more graceful, more dignified, and also has that comedic factor to it. That uncle-ish, like literal uncle-ish, like factor. That wise uncle. Like you feel like you're related to Iroh. You want an Iroh in your life. If you don't have one, you aspire for that. It's like you really feel like he's your family or your friend through the TV. Squidward, you don't get that in the same fashion in most episodes, except for what might honestly be the #1 episode of the show ever produced in Band Geeks. The one episode where Squidward just I cry watching that episode sometimes. Real, actual tears. Because he just finally, for once in his life, just gets a W. And his friends made that happen for him because they saw him at, like, the lowest point of his life. You know, where he was being overshadowed by somebody who succeeded doing everything he wished he could do. Don't rub it in. It's like, that alone, hearing Sweet Victory while the screen freezes and you see that giant smile on him, that taught me a lot of lessons that Uncle Iroh has had to literally use his words to teach me. And for that, I'm giving it to Squidward.
Damn.
There we go.
Damn.
That was deep.
That was one of the best episodes of the show ever, and not just because it was fucking funny as fuck.
All I'm gonna say is, Uncle Iroh, he's definitely like, what people aspire to be and what we would wish we had in our lives if we don't have one. Squidward is a warning tale.
It's like we learn stuff from him, but it's because we learn from you what not to be.
Yeah.
Still giving it to Squidward, though. Because, like, for the sole reason that because, like, even though it's in a completely different way, I have learned lessons that Uncle Iroh has taught me as well from Squidward. And in that way, he sort of has accomplished, like, both things, you know, of being the very funny character, the very quotable one, and also kind of wise in the same time. But not wise in the literal sense. Wise is in, like, the story sense, where we, like, learned something from him and learned about the value of friendship and just really being there for people at their lowest times to just make things better and rise from the ashes. That, you know, reminded me that, you know, like, you really can power through the hardest times of life if you believe that things can eventually get better. I'm talking about deep stuff that I learned from Squidward, you know. And the whole point is that, like, of this discussion is that, is Squidward the more iconic one because of all the quotes and how funny he is, or Iroh because of his iconic quotes because of how wise they are? And I'm saying that I've learned some wise lessons from Squidward as well, even though Iroh has also made me laugh several times. It's ridiculously close. Do not get me wrong. Not an easy decision. But because Band Geeks sort of, like, made me feel the same way, that same warm feeling in my heart and my soul that Iroh does whenever he speaks, for that reason, I am giving it to Squidward. I gotta go with that.
All right.
You want real discussions, you're gonna get real answers. All right, like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and you play good games, you win good prizes. Yeah,
that was great. And now, congratulations to Squidward for rounding out our final four. So now we have to decide between who wins between the 1 seed SpongeBob, the 6 seed Squidward, the 5 seed Prince Zuko, and the 11 seed.
Well,
Sokka.
it's like it's.
Why
it's
do they
SpongeBob
both have
versus
to be
Squidward
team
first,
kills,
and
man?
then it's team kill versus team kill, right?
Yeah.
So are we doing the SpongeBob team kill first?
Yeah, let's do the SpongeBob team kill first.
Okay.
This is something.
This is really hard. I can't, in good favor, like, vote against SpongeBob.
Squidward's humor is kind of nothing without SpongeBob.
Yeah.
You know the whole point I made about Band Geeks?
I think there could be a Squidward show. There
No,
are Squidward shows.
It would suck. It would suck.
There are Squidward shows.
It would
man.
fucking suck.
There are, like, there's not literally Squidward.
There is a Squidward spin-off supposedly coming.
Shut up.
No.
No.
Spit on the man's grave some more. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, that's garbage. Listen, I'm going to put my argument out here right here. I was just talking about, like, voting for Squidward because of Band Geeks. SpongeBob is the one who made that W happen in his life because of how low he saw Squidward. Like, SpongeBob represents joy. I've literally had media professors teach me that at back in Montclair, where I majored in CMDAs. It's one of the top communication and media art schools in the countries, and I had professors there teaching me about motherfucking SpongeBob and how he represents joy. All right, I'm just saying, you know, like, yeah, that was Squidward. That was what that episode was all about. I'm still talking about Band Geeks because it's one of the best fucking episodes, one of the best cartoons ever produced, ever. But SpongeBob, at the end of the day, was the one who made that happen. So he's not only funny, but a lot of, like, the humor that comes from Squidward and Squidward's W's come from him. SpongeBob can survive. SpongeBob can and does survive on his own. I disagree with you both. Squidward can't. I think a Squidward spinoff would be awful.
I'm just saying, like, there's shows that have Squidward type characters as the main character. You know what I mean?
Squidward type, but is it Squidward?
No, but it's like I'm just saying that show could work.
I disagree.
Either way, I still think I'm voting for SpongeBob here.
I am too. Actually, I want to talk about it a little more. I want to hear more of what Hungry has to say.
So basically, well, first of all, my argument is that it could work, right? And there are shows that kind of do that, but there's not a lot of shows with SpongeBob type characters. SpongeBob is very unique, you know.
Yeah.
He's almost like unique in that way, where it's like there's not a lot of characters that are just pure like being a kid as an adult, because he is an adult.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's hard to find that, and this is hard.
It's definitely not easy for sure.
I think this decision is easier for me than the Squidward Iroh one.
I mean, for both of you, it kind of was, but
yeah, it's definitely a little bit easier for me just because, like, I don't know, like SpongeBob to me is just like the backbone. Like, obviously he's like the titular character, but like SpongeBob is like the straw that stirs the drink. So,
oh no, he's hot.
Yo, that is like the worst thing ever, man. Like, how
right?
can your self-confidence be that low? No.
Oh, but then it gets better because of SpongeBob. He's the one who made that happen. With his sultry voice that sounds absolutely nothing like his fucking speaking voice.
Can I have something to eat? No. Can I have something to eat? No. You see anyone to know? Try asking again. Can I have something to eat? No.
Oh, fuck. If you want my help, I think I'm probably gonna pick SpongeBob.
All right, I don't know what the answer is for me still. So, but SpongeBob wins. So,
yeah,
we're really reaching the hardest parts, man. This is really. I feel like I'm giving up a child. Shoutouts to shoutouts to Hey Arnold again. This is like some hard shit we're dealing with right here, boys.
Yeah, this is some rough stuff. As SpongeBob moves on to the finals, and on the other side of our bracket, we have Sokka versus Zuko. I
still feel like we didn't talk enough about the SpongeBob thing, but at the same time, I feel confident in the decision. It's weird. It's like a weird feeling in my gut that I feel, because like Squidward is more relatable in the sense, but like I feel like a lot of his character and what he is would not survive without SpongeBob to contrast him. Where SpongeBob has many episodes where Squidward isn't even in it, and it's still funny as fuck with a lot of iconic lines. Not saying Squidward couldn't survive on his own, but I think that enough of is a reason to sort of pick SpongeBob.
No.
It's hard, man. It's so hard. It's so hard. Like it's not. This is not another easy decision. SpongeBob is an incredibly close pick next to Squidward, but I have to go with him for the sole reason that in their dynamic, they're both dependent on each other. But I think Squidward is just a little bit more dependent on SpongeBob than SpongeBob is on him. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I feel very confident in my decision. I agree. Like SpongeBob is like the device that like drives everything, even though he can't drive. But
drinking water when you said that, you fuck.
Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about the other
side? Spat that out on my
like,
new keyboard.
Are we ready to talk about Zuko versus Sokka?
No. I don't want to play anymore. I'm scared.
Sokka's amazing, but this answer is still easy for me.
Yeah, I also agreed. Zuko's kind of great.
Oh, okay. Well, then there we go.
So are we set? We're setting our final matchup.
Yeah, even if we were going with the official rule of just Water Tribe, because it is technically Katara, yeah, that's still an easy W for Zuko, of course. So,
yeah. He's one of the best in the biz, baby, for a reason.
Yeah. Sokka may have overcome a lot of like his issues and whatnot, and still like what's the word I'm looking for here? We already talked about like how amazing he is, like despite all the women he gets and like being slightly sexist and losing his mom and overcoming not being a bender and stuff. But that is still, despite even being a bender, is fucking nothing compared to what Zuko went through. in his life. Like, so honestly, I think that one's pretty free.
Yeah, no, I'm here with it.
Thought that conversation was going to be a lot harder.
Yeah,
I was really nervous.
Nah, I mean,
here's
the real battle. Here's the real battle. The battle for third place. Squidward versus Sokka.
Oh, there's a consolation one?
No, I'm not having this argument.
All right.
I was about to say, like, isn't it single elimination? What's going on?
I'm just saying, like,
we'll have that argument in the comment section. But
Sokka gets more
Zuko.
girls.
Yes, it's true. Anyway, SpongeBob
honestly,
versus Zuko.
If you don't vote for Zuko, your life has not been hard enough, and I'm judging you.
It's hard, man. Like, it's joy versus like sheer despair.
Okay, but it's also joy at the end.
This is true.
The biggest like glow up ever. Well, like whatever.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
You guys want to know the argument right now? This is gonna make everyone's decision. Oh, this is why you reached out to me 10 minutes before you set up a podcast. Oh boy. SpongeBob versus Zuko is literally blue pill versus red pill. I hope you guys already see what I'm getting at. Zuko is red pill, right? That's the one where you take it and so you realize you're in the simulation? Or am I getting that backwards?
True. Yes.
Okay. Zuko has overcome all that stuff, eventually realizes his life has been artificial and shit, all the stuff that his constantly pining for his father's love and his father's affection, eventually realizing he doesn't need that, grows to love himself more and grows to realize his own strength and that true salvation comes from within. All of that comes from Zuko and his amazing journey as he grows stronger as a character. SpongeBob, with his attitude, is more than content with his life peaking as a motherfucking fry cook.
Damn. That's crazy.
You know what I mean? He gets paid nothing, and he's completely okay with it. One of his best friends in Squidward, mid-key hates him. His life is... The whole joke of that shtick is that, you shouldn't be that happy in a food service job, let alone a fry cook at, an establishment where you're paid nothing, and he totally is because of his optimism. Yeah, it can be a lesson in optimism, but it can also be a lesson in being a sheep. You know what I mean? Where he's completely okay. What's
Dude,
up?
At the end of the SpongeBob movie, he's doing the most he's the manager and he's doing the most menial task.
Yeah.
his goal is to become manager at a fast food restaurant.
Right next to the original one where he's still just a fry cook at.
Yeah.
He's so content with mediocrity and doesn't shoot for more in his life. And that's broken in one sense because he loves his friends and he's content in helping people and, where he's at in his life and the love he has from the people around him. That's a beautiful thing in and of itself. But he doesn't aspire for more, like Zuko did.
You know who loves SpongeBob? Uncle Iroh.
He would.
Damn, you're right.
You'll see him, Zuko.
All Uncle Iroh wanted to do was run his tea shop.
This is true.
There is a beauty to the simplicity.
Pride in what he does.
Yeah, there's a beauty to that. You know what I mean? So, but it is still kind of blue pilly. Whereas this depends on your attitude towards life. Are you content in simplicity in a simple life and taking joy out of the little things, knowing you can have just as fulfilling of a life with the people around you? Or are you realizing that you're low-key being abused or manipulated and you want more than that? Yeah, but he learns that
lesson along with that lesson from the enjoying the little things too,
Zuko, you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. After realizing that he's been being manipulated, where SpongeBob kind of never did. Yeah, he loves Mr. Krabs, but he pays him fucking nothing. That's garbage. It's like SpongeBob is kind of what the fucking politicians want us to be. You know what I mean? He just be completely
everything is awesome.
Yeah.
Everything is
Great
cool
movie,
when
by
you're
the
part
way.
of a team. Like, even though like we're receiving nothing while they like reap the benefits of everything that we do.
I'm gonna pick Zuko.
It's blue pill versus red pill.
I'm picking Zuko.
And I think we have our winner.
Yeah, we do. Congratulations to Prince Zuko for winning the Nickelodeon best Nickelodeon character bracket. Wow.
I'm going back to my original statement. If you don't pick Zuko, your life has not been hard enough, and I'm judging you.
I'm with you. And yeah, that's gonna Listen, we definitely crushed the longest podcast on this channel by a long slot. So people are gonna have fun with this one. Listen, you guys can check out the bracket at home. If you guys have any omissions, any glaring omissions, in my opinion, a character that should have been in this bracket that wasn't was Roger Klotz from Doug. Roger's a great character. He should have been in this bracket, but he wasn't. But alas. And yeah, listen, it was a journey. We laughed, we cried, but we got here. And I think this was quite the journey, and I couldn't have asked for two better co-hosts to guide us through with this. So thank you guys again for joining me tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. I had a wonderful time. I'm really grateful to have been a part of this, and I can't wait to hear this one back. I'm really happy to have been a part of this episode. Might have been a little jealous had I not been, but I also didn't comment on the post you made when you were asking for people to be on this episode. So much like with any commentary gigs that I would have as a Smashcaster, I'm never mad at anybody except for myself, considering how not proactive I am with getting those gigs in the first place. So lesson learned there, kids. Be proactive in your life to get to the places where you want to be, and maybe you'll be able to be on a podcast where you get to talk about your favorite cartoon characters with your bestest buddies in the world.
I think he's talking about me, Hungry.
Nice.
I was talking about both of you.
I don't want the responsibility.
I was talking about both of you.
As we sign out here, Hungry, tell the people at home where they can find you.
He's hot.
So I am on Twitter at twitter.com/MF_Arhungry. YouTube.com/Arhungry. It's easy.
It is very easy. And sometimes on the Glintendo podcast.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
David, where can the people at home find you?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my main shtick is I do a podcast of my own. It's nothing like this one, minus fucking degenerate. We talk about pretty much anything and everything under the sun. It is called the Double D Experience, named after both, mine and my co-host name both start with a D, and other stuff that you can probably figure out that I don't want to say here on the podcast. We talk about pretty much anything and everything.
Eddie.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, let's go with that. That's why I named it what it is. Got an episode that came out, I think, yesterday, considering that Koop'd Up comes out on Saturdays, and mine comes out on Fridays. So yesterday we had an episode come out that was pretty much all about some grand revelations about, the future of, I guess, the country and stuff. We talked about COVID, but we had like a humorous spin on it. It's a comedy banter podcast that we do where we talk about everything with various guest stars, including Koopa that we've had on. We've had Nickelodeon. We've had the host of the Gigless podcast, as well as other, like YouTubers and personalities and whatnot. We got a pretty extensive list of the people that we want to be on the show, and it's definitely my main shtick when it comes to content creation nowadays, because it's easy, fun, and it's an outlet where I truly get to be myself. So if you want to support me in my endeavors, you can go and follow that. It'll probably be down in the description below, unless Kyle doesn't put it in there like he said he wasn't going to do the last time I was on Koop'd Up. Yeah. There you go. Double D Experience. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Radio Breaker, Anchor, anywhere that you get your podcast. And also on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nintoonist, all that stuff. So there you go. Definitely check that out. Check out me and Dennis, and we love you.
Yeah. And again, if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at KoopaNJ, across platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Check out the show on Twitter at Koop'dUpPod. Email us questions at koop'dupod@gmail.com if you feel so inclined. And check us out on all of your favorite podcasting platforms: Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, like we mentioned before. And that's going to be all for this week's episode of Koop'd Up, folks. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. If you made it to the end, Congratulations. And until then, have yourselves a wonderful night and take care, everybody.